level up your mobile game. Check this out. With unlimited talk, text, and 5G data, customers are scoring 3 whole months of unlimited everything. Imagine chatting away without counting your minutes, sending texts like there's no tomorrow, and streaming your favorite shows at lightning speed all for just $30 a month. But wait, it gets better. For new customers, that's only $15 a month. Seriously, it's a game changer. No more worrying about overage charges or buffering. You can connect, share, and enjoy life to the fullest without any interruptions. So, why wait? Jump on this incredible offer and experience the freedom of unlimited service. Click the link and grab this deal before it's gone. Trust me, you don't want to miss out.
Log on to trymintmobile.com/HOF. That's trymintmobile.com/HOF.
You know what, guys? In a nice way, y'all. We don't give a shit.
Good evening, and welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the coach, minus the coach tonight. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football. What's up, everybody? Good to see you. I hate whisper voices. I'm going to have to do it just to fuck with you. What's up, guys? Good to see everybody. Wait till you see my yin yang twins. That's pretty funny rhyming. Always with the jokes. I love it. Welcome into the show, everybody. I'm going to get in and talk a little bit about some of this stuff. What are you guys thinking about? Well, the game, everything else last night. We'll also get into talking a little bit about the latest on the Jim Knowles Watch at Oklahoma. Another year without the title for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Do they get one next year? Do they get one in the near future? As you see the poll in there, I don't know. I'm going to get in here and check on that, actually. What do you guys say? Who is Ryan Day the most dislikable coach in college football? It's a question I have. Or is it Lincoln? Or is it BK? Or is it who is it? Who is it to you guys? Let me get in here and look. Let's see. All right, so we already got 32 folks in here. We've already had 50 people in here, and we got the likes ain't too terrible. 13, I guess. They could go up though. So Lincoln Riley, how did I know Lincoln Riley was gonna take this one easily? That's great. Oh man, I love it. What's up there? Johnny Boy, Benji, Ryman Lemon, Garrett Boulware. What's up, my guy? Kyle DePuis. Timothy Green was in here earlier, I guess. Goated. What's up, my guy? Good to see everybody in here. It's Riley. You saved a click. For real though. It's awesome. I knew that we would get a pro. It's Riley in here. So no shocker there. Pretty funny shit though. It's definitely pretty funny shit. Also, we'll get into some of these crazy, way too early top 25 polls. I think it's way too early to talk about them. I think it's stupid. And then now they're starting up with these way too early Heisman polls. Where you think everybody's going to be. Obviously, the betting's already up there, so you can already go bet and make your choices now. There's a couple of them that I think are actually on that side of it. You can probably get some decent odds on some of these guys because you never really know what's going to end up happening. It's a long ways from now, 8 months before the season gets started again. What's up there, David Whitehead? What's up, David Whitehead? Let's see who else we got. Jesse Browning. What's up, my guy? Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening. Good night. You going to bed? I think Riley's the most hated by OU fan base, but I don't think he's as hated as BK. Like, nobody likes that guy. Yeah. I don't know. A lot of people are saying, what's up there, Bishop? A lot of people are today they're talking about Ryan Day. That's why I even put the poll up there that he's that unlikable. Had my guy old Jake Crane was on there talking like that earlier today. I was kind of laughing at that. Then of course you had Pate, well, why? Because he doesn't hate anybody, but he's not like the rest of us. What's up? What's up? Moosehead, what up? Sooner. In other news, the FBI has confiscated Lincoln Riley's smoker. Too many overcooked briskets in LA. Man, that's dry as the damn Sahara Desert when Lincoln gets to smoking meats, man. Oof, damn. That's when he started blocking people on Twitter. Remember that? That shit was funny when people started making fun of his briskets. That's great. I can't believe he's never gotten away from that shit. Never gotten away from that. That's hilarious. Too much. John Mateer starting as a finalist. Sooners going to get disappointed early, he says. Oh, are we going to do the doom and gloom tonight? Oh, goody. That's what I wanted to hear. All right. Well, let's get into talking a little bit about that, though. Got a lot of honestly, I don't know how anybody could be that freaked out at this moment because of the fact that, look, Oklahoma is in good shape. They look to be in good shape. Now, you have to obviously go out and play the games and everything else, but when you've got a guy that comes in with looking the way that he's looking right now, Mateer then obviously coming in with Buckle. He's already played for him. He's learned the system. You've got a good quarterback behind him if that's the way it ends up working out, which it probably is. I think that they're obviously going to go ahead and probably go with Mateer first. I think that from what I'm hearing nowadays, they're wanting to, if they possibly can, they want to preserve that red shirt year that Michael Hawkins didn't get this past season. So I think that's the expectation at the moment. Now, in the end, I don't think it really matters. I think that he's in a good position to where if you did have an injury or anything like that, he's able to come in, play well, and do what you need him to get done. The other part of it that I think is huge is that they've the offensive line I think is going to be in a lot better shape. Without Seth Luttrell there doing the crazy stuff that he's doing, shout out to Trap House Boomin', but he was talking a little bit today about whether or not the maybe he was going to do some wider splits so you could get some better runs going and stuff like that. I think that that's a great idea myself. And I think that when you start looking at what Bill Bedenbaugh is, he's able to get these guys to play up. And I think that these younger guys, the 23 and 24 class, are ready to make a big statement. I believe you did get a couple of guys in the portal that you figure should be able to play right away. And hopefully you won't have a bunch of damn injuries like you did last year, right? Now, in the end, it is what it is, but I'm looking at the whole deal myself. I'm just looking at it as an opportunity to see where they're at defensively because this defense looks like it's going to be ridiculous. And I don't think that it matters whether or not you end up getting a Jim Knowles going ahead and coming. Now, I do believe he's coming. I told you guys this the last few days. I think that he's at Oklahoma. The more we've heard coming out of there, you heard what Dusty Dvorak said today. He was in Atlanta, and he had a lot of people coming up to him, talking to him about it, that was going to happen. So would it be that surprised? The intel that I have, Jesse Browning, I don't have a ton of, I couldn't tell you who it is, but there's some stuff going around that, yeah, it's, I think they have it pretty straightened out. I think they got to bring it home. I think they're right in the ballpark though. And I think it's, as I said before, I think that the intel that you need is the fact that He's got a fiance that lives in Oklahoma, isn't looking to leave anywhere. Yeah, I don't imagine that you would probably get married if you were going to be 1,500 miles away from each other. Just doesn't make sense to me. And also you look at a situation where it hadn't been a good thing there in with him and Larry Johnson. And, as they've been talking about a lot, this is basically the same defense that he runs now. And the difference is that he's known for the way that, his secondaries play, that they seem to just get it done. You add that into what these linebackers in this defensive front, because this defensive front, make no mistake, it could be the best in the country without a doubt. It very well could be the best in the country. Will it be? We'll see. But I think the depth-wise, they're in good shape. When you start thinking about it, you had Jaden Jackson, who started every game as a freshman in front of Dominic Williams. Then you got Stoney, obviously Grayson Halton. Man, you're going to see probably a little bit still of I think you're still going to see some Nigel Smith going in there. And at that position, now you might see him sliding in and out of there. But PJ Adebawore, you're expecting a lot from him this year. But you've got Marvin Jones Jr. that came in. I suspect that he'll probably be a starter coming out the box. That if he's able to get in there and kind of do what he needs to do, but I believe he probably will. And then you obviously have our Mason Thomas, who, man, what a season he had, and it looks like it could only get better, right? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Y'all hear Dusty talking about Knowles on KREF. Sounded pretty good. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. I think it's a good situation. For everybody involved. So, yeah, man. What's up there, Big Bogue? Good to see you, my guy. Satterfield, what's up? What up, T Boomer, my man? Good to see you. Texas stats were inflated due to their training wheel schedule. Dun, 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 dun. That's true. Totally true. He can bitch about it if he wants to, but
the brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand.
Yep. That's how we feel about it. It's just how we feel about it. They're trash.
And call your team trash. Because that's what they are. Trash.
Now, when you start talking about some of these damn the early top 25s, though, it's kind of wild because a lot of people are picking Texas number one. I don't see it. You're expecting Arch just to come in and catch the world on fire, are we? New offensive line. The same reasons everybody wanted to tell us how we're not going to, Oklahoma wasn't going to win last year. Same shit. It doesn't apply to Texas, of course. Never, never, never. Never, never, never. Silly shit. Let's see. Who's saying this? What's up there, Timothy Green? Good to see you, man. I know, dude. It's kind of a bummer. We were kind of talking about that a little bit last night, too. It's I think Nathan Palmer Brown was saying, he's like, man, I'm already jonesing for it. Me too. It sucks. We're going to go another year 8 months before we get to watch football again. But there's plenty to talk about in between. Plenty to see, I think you're going to have a lot of different stuff that's going to go down. And I think it's an opportunity. I mean, this is the time of year that you get better. So I think it's a good time for everybody, really. Let's see. Let's see the secondary actually put it together first, but it's looking good. Can't argue. Now, listen, I think that I'm going to say this again. I think that the reason the secondary struggled at times last year was because you had Billy was taking chances on some stuff, right? Him and RSJ. And that part of that has to do with the fact of the way they play it. They send blitzers from everywhere. RSJ was getting sacks, Billy's going in there and sticking his head in there to make a stop on a big time running back, like he did in that Auburn game down by the goal line. When your offense is as bad as it was at OU this year, it's tough for you to get too cranky or anxious about the way that the secondary or anybody on the defense is playing, because they were stopping people and it get to a point where they didn't believe you were going to put up enough points to win. So they start taking chances, trying to jump balls instead of staying in coverage and stuff like that. Now, the other part of it too, you got, when you have basically, you're having to try to piece things together as far as your corners are concerned. I think aside from Eli Bowen being freshman All-American, you really were missing Gentry Williams quite a bit. It if I felt like Makari, if he hadn't have been hurt as much as he was, probably would have been a bigger help there. Shout out to Makari Vickers also, getting on at CU. Good to see him catching on somewhere quick. He's going to be playing safety there, I think. But yeah, I think they're going to be fine back there. And the thing is they got probably the best front seven. You've got Kendall Daniels also, who can play safety or linebacker. I think a lot of that was overblown, what they were talking about, what happened at OSU, because of the fact, first off, the whole damn team quit, including the coaching staff. Number two, he was learning a new position, and it didn't seem like he felt comfortable. I think that was more of what it was than it was just him loafing. So he's been unbelievable. And if you get a guy like Knowles, he was a freshman All-American under Knowles. So it seems like it would be a great fit for him as well. And that part of it is what I like the most. I look at it in terms of, do you have to go get Knowles? No, you don't. Would it work out for you if you did? Sure. Because we've talked about it a lot. You want to see Brent become a CEO, get better with the in-game management of the time and everything else, kind of be looking 4 steps ahead, be playing chess instead of checkers, that kind of stuff. But the other part of it is that 2 great minds that are already thinking alike. And, you got one that's coming off his first national championship as a coordinator. Brent's got 3 of them. He's played for like 9, so that, this is championship caliber coaching staff. They've got championship caliber players on both sides of the ball. I think that they can definitely surprise some people. I think we need to look through the schedule a little bit and kind of talk a little bit about what you expect out of some of these teams. Is the schedule as tough as we think it is? If you look at wins from last year, it's right up. I think it's number 4 in the SEC, and the only ones it's behind is like Kentucky and I want to say Mississippi State, stuff like that. But as far as wins and losses, again, it's a lot easier for Texas. They're going to end up looking a lot better than they probably are. Texas will plant the flag as if it were a strong Ohio State team who didn't have any players enter the draft. Oh, we're talking about that first game next year. Is it first or second game? Oh, okay. Sorry about that, Coach Rick. So I got that. Let's see. Let me send this to Coach Ricks real quick and we'll continue with the convo. All right, it's there. Should be there. All right. Welcome into the show there, Duke. I always love to see you kind of coming in and just immediately talking that shit. Hey, he dedicated my boys are dedicated to coming in and racking them up. Man, it's a cold fucker here too. It's cold everywhere. It was so cold last night, man, and this morning too. Oh, I was about to send Norman outside by himself. You going to Columbus? Hey man, the shoe's a cool place to go. It's a cool place to go. Not so cool when you get beat. Don't think. Yeah, I think it is first game, isn't it? Yeah, seems like that's right. Folks says undo the shadow ban. 57 watching, 22 likes. Undo the shadow ban. Undo it, folks. Undo it. That's some funny shit. Let's see. Oh man. Let's see. What else we got? Could Knowles be a coach in waiting? No, I don't even know that that's. I don't know that that's part of the plan. I mean, I guess probably he could be, if that was. Here's what I'm going to tell you. This I've already kind of said this to you guys before in the past. If this Knowles hire happens, BV's not. His seat isn't boiling unless he wins like 4 games next year. He's going to be back for 2 years. They're not going to hire these 2 guys, these 2 brand new coordinators again, one of which we know is championship caliber. The other one we think is, with a quarterback situation like we got, and then a schedule situation like you potentially have, and then sit here and then expect them to go and win 10 games or even 8 games in some certain. I mean, listen, we don't know what Alabama's going to be yet. We know they have a shit ton of talent. If they get the right play caller in there, if they get the right trigger man in there, they could be a pain in the ass. They still have talent. Okay. I don't know where these people are talking about putting Auburn in the top 10 and not those fuckers. It's crazy to me. Crazy shit. But same with, look, Garrett Nussmeier's coming back to LSU. They're going to be good. They should be better on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to be good, though. Tennessee's got Nico coming back. I don't know that they're as good as they were a year ago, but I think they are going to be good still. I think it's just a matter of how does it end up working out. But whatever ends up happening, I believe that you're probably going to have a situation where I believe OU is going to be all right, man. I can tell you that much. And I do think that if they're going to make this hire, if they're making this hire, they're doing it for the long haul, not for short term. And I think they want to see what these guys could do together, not apart. That's my feelings on it. Welcome into the show, Coach Ricks from
What's going on,
Coaches
bud?
Talk. My guy, what's up, man? How you been?
I'm doing good. Wow.
Good, man. Good. How's everything been going today? I saw you guys on there getting after it earlier today too, talking it up. We were just kind of talking about some of the same stuff you've been talking about.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, talking about Knowles and why you would have him in there. Somebody was asking, is this a coach in waiting type of thing? I don't think it is. I don't think that that's really what. I don't really think that that's what Knowles is looking for. I don't think that he is. So
No.
It seems like he's had one shot at it. He wasn't great at it. I don't think he loved it. And I don't know that at this point of your life and you're, starting a new relationship with somebody that you come in looking in that direction necessarily.
Man, some
Look
people
like
are
you're
great
a captain of a
assistants.
fishing boat tonight. Thanks, Neilio. Appreciate it, my guy. Thank you for the super chat, as always.
Do you hear echo on my side?
Probably. Let me.
I just didn't know.
I think it's me, man. I think it's me. Unless you have something else open, but it could be.
No, I think that was it.
Yeah.
I think some guys are great assistants, man. BV was a great assistant for a long period of time and waited for the right fit. But once Jim left Cornell, he saw that it was hard, man, to coach and run things like that. So if you can make good money, man, worrying about one side of the football, that's a win-win.
Yeah.
But also, if you join the staff that OU has put together, along with BV, 2 great defensive minds, that's a dangerous combination, man.
No doubt. And I think that that's what they're looking for. I think that they want to be able to have some continuity, right? And they run the same thing, basically. They run the same thing. I think one is a little heavier on, I think one's a little heavier on, emphasis on what you do in the secondary and that kind of stuff. And I think the other one is more of a, obviously down, like we're going to get after him. But even Knowles, I mean, he brings pressure as well. I think they're very similar in the way that they do things, out of that 4-2-5. I do think that Knowles is quicker to maybe go to a 3-3-5 than what BV is.
Yeah.
But I think that this is a situation where you get out of his way. I think they would work together and I don't think Brent's ever going to get completely his hands out of the defense because he's a freaking defensive guru. But I also think this seems to me like the kind of situation where Coach Roybal talks about whenever Brent used to recruit his players, that he can sit in the office with Coach V and talk for hours and just pick his brain about stuff. And Coach V will do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know how that kind of goes when you start talking ball.
Man, when you talk ball with coaches, man, it's just an ongoing thing. Like when I get in the room with some of my old Army buddies, we'll sit there and talk for days about stuff, man, and it can go on for 3 or 4 hours. So trust me, man. But one thing I want to stress, man, is that when you say that, who do we see on the sideline when Georgia has on defense? We see Kirby. Even though he's the defensive coordinator, we see Kirby. That's all we see, making adjustments, making assignments. So BV might be the same way, but he will never ever relinquish total control of the defensive coordinator because he feels like he can add something to that, So, but Jim knows,
I
man. I
agree with
mean,
that, and I think more than likely you're probably going to see him. I think it'll be a working relationship. You know what I mean? I think that
yeah,
look, he's the head coach. He's always going to have final say on everything. But I don't think that you're bringing this guy in here with the thoughts of micromanaging him. This isn't. I
no,
mean, you're not. This isn't a young guy that hasn't been doing. This guy's been coaching for 40 years. He knows what he's doing.
I think this is the first time BV can officially become a CEO and just set back and let things, handle themselves because Jim Knowles has proven that he can run a damn good defense. So we'll see. I mean, like I
Number
said,
one
if
defense
this
in the
happens,
country.
if it
Number one
happens,
defense in the country. They were able to shut down Notre Dame for the better part of the game until the turnovers were kind of what changed that around a little bit last night. For in favor of allowing Notre Dame kind of get back in the game. But I don't know that I ever really felt like they were down by 8 at one point. I think, they were obviously threatening, but I
yeah.
don't know that I really believed that they were going to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Here's my biggest thing about last night. And man, I apologize, man. I dozed off. I had my
I
granddaughter in my
figured you
lap
did, man. I know how it is,
and I was
bro.
reading
She's
stories to
been
her and I
working with
woke
all
up,
the
man, it was
boys.
3 in the morning. But why didn't Notre Dame come in there with the same emphasis they had the last 4 games? Run heavy, lean on
That's what
Love,
coach was asking. He was pissed.
lean on
Pissed.
lean on. You
Jeremiah
can't
Love
have a
only had
back
3
like
touches.
Love and only have 3 carries
3
in a
touches,
championship
man.
game.
Fuck out of here.
I
Yeah,
mean,
made no
shit.
sense.
I mean, that's crazy. This dude was carrying guys in the end zone the last game that we saw him. So he only has 3 carries. So it's hard, man. But when I look at Oklahoma, man, and the overall landscape of it, if we do get Jim Knowles, I think that we will finally have what Ryan Day had. They got them a great OC, Chip Kelly. We got Ben Arbuckle. We got Mateer. Weapons all on the offensive side.
True.
Offensive line is getting together. I think Bill will have that situated. On the other side,
Yeah, man, and they've got talent. They've got more
yeah,
athleticism than they had in that room by a lot.
we're not going to have this conversation about the quarterback fumbling the ball, not going through progressions. The game won't be too fast for John Mateer because he's already made the game slow down for him and everything. So that's
Agreed.
another thing that we're not, saying anything about is that he's already been through the fire. He's already had that, that little slump. So coming to OU, he got something to prove. Damn it, what's on my damn head?
I don't know, is my volume down, gentlemen?
No, it was something that was on my peach fuzz in my hat.
No, it's Crow was asking. Does that sound better now?
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
I've been noticing it a little bit on the stream whenever I've watched it afterwards. Is it better now, gentlemen?
I think
Let me
so.
know.
I don't want to jinx it, but I'm just
Am I
hoping, man,
cold?
that
Hell yeah, I'm cold. It's
every,
colder than shit, man.
how cold is it there? It's 19 degrees here.
It's like, I think it's like 12 degrees or something like that, man. And last night it was down close to around 6. The fuck
Dude,
is going on over
it
here,
never
bro?
gets this cold on the East
It's not
Coast.
supposed
I
to
was
be
like,
like that.
shit,
Hey,
I left this
I
weather
got
for a reason.
I got in the car to go to work this morning, and the motherfucker was like struggling after I let it warm up for a while, and I was like, "Man, what's the oil? Is the oil frozen or some shit?" Because it was just finally, and I mean, I revved it for a little while, and Shit, I was tripping. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it in, man, and I
Shit.
don't want to walk home.
That's when you call an Uber. come get me.
Hell yeah, you just stay in there, but it wouldn't. It ended up being okay, but I was tripping, man. I was like, fuck this, too much coldness.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a Buckeye fan, we will try to match whatever y'all offer.
It ain't
I
about
can see
money.
that.
It ain't.
I don't think it's
Jason,
about money,
it's
though.
not gonna be about money,
Let
man.
me show you guys what this is about.
This is about his fiance, man. He's been. I mean, look, man. We can sit here and say what we
What did I
want to
say
say.
the other day? You've heard me say it.
Yeah.
It's like having all the infinity stones, bro.
Yeah.
It booty just trumps all. It
Stupid.
does. You know what I'm saying? It just trumps all. You know I'm not wrong.
No, you're not wrong. You're
And
not wrong.
look, baby ain't going nowhere. She ain't going. She's not leaving to come out there with you guys to Ohio. She's gonna be right here where she's at.
Yeah.
And this is his current. It's on his Instagram right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep thinking about Harlem Nights. I have got a girl who's is so good that if you threw it up in the air, it would turn into sunshine.
Let me speak to your mama. Hey, baby, I ain't never coming home.
I ain't never coming home ever. I love that.
But it ain't about money, man. Because someone was saying, well, he makes 2.2 there, or you can offer him 3. When you throw those numbers out there, Jason, there really isn't that big of a gap. What, $20,000 when taxes are paid and everything? There isn't that big of a gap.
No, it's not.
So,
and I think that they're going to obviously have to make it worth his while to come. I think, but I don't know. From what I'm hearing, it doesn't sound like it's a money thing. I don't think it's a money thing.
When you've already won a national championship, that was what you was trying to get. You got it. So now, why not go back home to the family and everything and try to do it there? You can say that you've done it now. I just don't see with the hate that he has for Larry Johnson, all the bickering and bitching and complaining.
And
why stay there?
Come on, man.
Oh, no. I mean, the best thing that they can do is promote Laurinaitis to defensive coordinator.
Oh.
If he does leave, and they'll be fine. But I'm just saying, I believe he's coming, man, because there's no more games. We ain't got to worry about. Look, if you ask me, Will, are you going to work tomorrow? Yes.
Right.
Will, are you not going to work tomorrow? No. I'm not going to say, well, I don't know, Jason. We'll see. Hell no. It's a yes or no. Yeah. So when you prolong the question, it just makes everybody believe that that's where you're going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, media day for the championship game was not exactly a glowing endorsement for Ohio State. You know what I mean?
No,
all he had to
not.
say was no.
No,
all he
it
had
was
to do
not.
was say no, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Jason, there's some work going on in the background, man. I'm telling you, it's looking more and more because too many people are talking about it. Hey, someone knows something. Someone knows something, and I'm pretty sure that.
I think he's coming. This isn't official. Don't call me official on it or anything like that. But I'll just as a prediction, I'm going to say yes. I think that Chris Mason hit it on the button last week when we were talking. He said, look, it's bad optics if you miss this now. You've had 2 weeks to make a hire, 3 weeks to make a hire, basically at this point. If you're still waiting on this guy and he jilts you, you look bad. And they can't. Oklahoma can't afford that. So I think that, we all know that as much as Brent's supposed to be in charge of making all these hires and shit, and he takes responsibility for all of it, doesn't mean that he necessarily is.
Yeah,
doesn't mean that he necessarily is.
Yeah, I got kind of bitched out about that earlier.
Yeah, right. Yeah, come on, man. Whatever.
Okay.
But I think that's what I'm talking about, is that I believe that really in the end, you've got in this situation, I don't think that Joe C or any of these donors, boosters, or even the Board of Regents would still be on this without leaking something to like Barry Trammell or something like that and saying,
Yeah.
kill this thing. It ain't happening. That way that, we're not going to do it. He's not going to do it. Whatever. Kill this. Leak it to them. Make sure that happens a lot, by the way. So if that's not going on, why isn't it already going on? You know what I mean? So it tells me that at the very worst, there's mutual interest. And then you heard what Dusty Dvorak said today. He said everybody in Atlanta came up to him talking about that.
Yeah.
That basically calling it a done deal.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, what's going to answer this question, Jason? What's going to keep you there? You already won the championship.
Well, and here's the other thing. This is something that I don't think that people are talking enough about. That's a senior-laden defense that not only is it senior-laden, but even the juniors, these guys they're looking to probably go to the NFL. Most of them are ready. The rest of them are fairly young. Now, are they talented? Shit, yes, they are. But you come into a situation, you think about what you have in the front seven here. I don't think it's – and even on the back end with the safeties, you could talk about, aside from the corners, is the only real question you have. And the question you have is Gentry going to be healthy for once?
Yeah.
To go with Eli. Plus you've got, Hawkins' little brother, obviously. You've got Newcomb's kid, Bobby Newcomb's son, Jeremiah Newcomb, another star. Looks like he's going to be a star as well. There's some guys, and then, they're still sticking with what's his name?
Who?
Oh man, they had him playing receiver for a little while this year. Why am I
shit!
You know what I'm saying? Somebody will pop it in here, but that's the whole thing. I'm just saying. I think that the only question you have is in the secondary. Well, first off, that's what he does really well, and I think it'll work itself out. If Gentry can stay healthy this year, I think that you're going to be formidable. The other thing is that if your offense is just a little, just be serviceable for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Just be basic.
Be serviceable.
Jacoby
Johnson. Yes.
Yep.
Jacoby Johnson. Yep. Thank you, whoever said that. Yeah. Kill a horse. My man. Appreciate it. Let's see. Boy, who else is in here? EV, LJ, he's just senile. We love him, but he's stuck in his ways. Yeah, listen, and I get that, but we've heard that it's, it's not even toxic. It's like, it's the words that are coming out are toxic or hated and stuff like that. And in the end, I don't know that any of it matters as much as him having a woman out here. You know what I mean? And he got divorced from his wife, I guess, not that long ago, terribly long ago, but I don't know how long they'd been apart. He's in love. He's, early love too. And so, that's probably all he's thinking about. So if she's not planning to leave, her son's supposedly going to be playing at SWAZU, I think, basketball.
Yeah.
He's a senior at Weatherford, I think.
He said Weatherford for the legend said earlier, Weatherford.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. So that's what
at the end of the day, man, he ain't going nowhere, man.
To Ohio, and he's not looking, I don't know, man. It just seems to me like it seems like it's there. Now, do you have to make it right money-wise? Sure. Does he want to come into a situation where he's not going to be able to do what he wants to do? No, he doesn't. You know what I mean? I just don't see that happening. But I also think that him and BV Brent approached him, I think, about it. I think it went further than what we thought it was going to go as far as the conversation. And there it is. We'll see what happens. But it doesn't make, the only thing better than a natty is 2 natties. Hopefully Knowles stays, but if he goes to Oklahoma, we'll respect it. Yeah, man. I mean, I get it.
Well, this is what I hate to hear, that Oklahoma can't afford him. That's the one thing that's the narrative that I've been hearing that makes no sense, is that we're not talking about East Carolina.
That's your doom and gloomers. That's your doom and gloomers.
Virginia. I mean, Oklahoma can afford him to come there.
Would you pay what you're paying? Would you pay what you will pay him to some young guy like Zach Alley? No. Would you do it if it was I don't know. Let's just, out of the blue, let's say Kirby Smart was all of a sudden on the looking for a job as a coordinator. Would you pay him that?
Yes.
Fuck yes, you would.
Championships and everything
You know
seal
what I'm
that
saying?
deal.
Yeah, man. I mean, you would do it. You would do it. And there's just some guys are worth it.
Yeah.
Some guys aren't. And look, to me, if what you're trying to get, and I've said this also, if they're so ready to get rid of Brent Venables, it doesn't look like it, because I mean, you got people that start talking about the broke Oklahoma bullshit. Broke Oklahoma. Come on, man. It can't be both ways, that you're not going to pay for players, but you'll fire a coach that you're going to still owe $34 million after 2025.
Yeah.
Come on, what are we talking about?
Jason, if
So
we
I'm
sit
going to
here,
tell you, if he ends up here, I was just saying this as you were coming in. If Jim Knowles ends up in Norman, BV, short of going 4-8 or something stupid like that, he's here for 2 more years, man.
2 more years, because we want to see what can happen with him coming here for this defense.
Yep.
That is one of the main things. But what I was going to say was, this is one of those things, man, where you have to line it up and say, does it make sense? Yes, this makes
Yeah.
sense. But I'm just going to say this, man, putting these two guys together, man, is going to be something that hasn't been done before. When was the last time you had two great defensive minds at the same place?
Well,
I mean, you
I
you
think
can say
usually
Mike Stoops and him when he came back.
when you're bringing one of them up, I guess.
Yep. Yeah.
And I guess Mike Stoops and BV, I guess maybe, if you want to call, but I don't know that I agree.
No.
But
I'm just saying that was the only time, but that was going
I
off.
think that they were really good together. They
Yeah.
played off of each other very well, right?
Well,
Anyway.
that's some Garrett. Hey, Garrett, I keep hearing that too. He can't stand Day. I mean, there's a lot of hate on both sides when it comes to that, but it worked out so well to win a national championship.
Ryan Day needed him. I have a hard time believing that he doesn't like Ryan Day, and he didn't act like that during that press conference either. That's not the way he acted, right?
No.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem plausible to me.
My bicker
doesn't.
earlier on Joe C was, he got to start taking some of this goddamn blame that's on Brent. That's that's the only thing about Joe C that I don't like. He's a great AD. Now, I don't want to get your show banned or your show in trouble, but I'm just tired of this trying to save money crap, and it costing us seasons and wins. Just get out the way. Be a AD and stop being Jerry Jones. Just be a AD. Be a AD and let the head coach do all the hiring. Be there to give your blessing or not, but don't sit here and decide who needs to be an OC. And then when the shit goes south, we all blame BV, but it was your damn call. That's the only bicker I have about that.
For real though. I think we may be getting Coop in here in just a second as well. I may need to get a new invite though. I'm not exactly sure how this all works just yet, but I'm seeing. Oops, that ain't the way either though. I gotta regenerate it first. Invite. Here we go. I think it only is good for like one person. It feels like. Yeah, Coop, if you've already tried to get in, you definitely.
If you can, man, I'll jump out, but he can come in and
No. You don't have to do that. It's not that. It's I think the way that the links work is how it is. It's just something to do with the links. That's all. Nothing to do with you, Coach. But where's your camera, man? What the hell? What you doing?
I'm eating yogurt. I hate to be smacking, man, putting stuff in my mouth in front of people, man. So whenever you don't see me, I'm eating something.
I figured that's what was going on. You in there stuffing your face. Look at you.
Hey, man.
In retrospect, it's not only BV buyout, it's the staff, trainers, doctors, analysts, etc. Yes, look, you heard Stoya talking about it this year. I mean, I think that there was some real when they finally fired Latrell, which we know for damn sure. Look, you can say that it was BV's fault that Latrell's there. I happen to know that he was trying to fire his ass before the season ever started. So I know that it's not just Brent Venables. Okay. It's not just Brent Venables. I don't care what you think. It's the truth. But it's neither here nor there. He takes responsibility for it, and that's fine. That's what he should do as a head coach. That's what you're supposed to do. Right? Now,
Yep.
even though the fewer and fewer of them do so. What I will say is, you can't, when what Stoya was saying, he was talking about, look, you start talking about just like what this guy, it's $100 to $125 million because you got to buy out all these guys. Now, you're going to tell me that you're going to go get a guy like Knowles. You're going to have to pay him. He's not doing it for a 1-year contract. There's no fucking way he's leaving Ohio State for a 1-year deal. So now you're going to add what, another $15 million?
$15 million on there to buy him out.
You know? So you're gonna put $15 million into him at minimum and then say, yeah, we're gonna fire your ass anyway. Not unless they really suck next year. And I just have a hard time believing that's even gonna happen. Now, you're looking at the schedule, that's a possibility, but I would just tell you that I don't see that. I don't see that. Let me check with Coop real quick. Coop, if you're in there, try the other link, bro. Let's see. That's yeah. I don't think that it doesn't seem like it's. And that's like I was saying, Evie. And then thanks for coming in. I appreciate what you have to say. I'm going to defer to people that are from the area and know a little something about it before I start sitting here. I don't know everything about what's going on at Columbus. Yeah. I'm just telling you what we're hearing here. I haven't really heard him say that. I've heard people talk about it. I haven't heard it from people that I believed. And I also just got done listening to him pretty much talking really glowingly about Ryan Day. And not everybody does that.
Yeah.
Said he thought he was a really good coach. So to me, I look at it in terms of that's not it. Right?
Yeah.
I think that he's at least going to get 2 years out of it because I don't think they want to pay him $34 million to walk either.
No.
Not to mention the other guys that you're paying to walk out too. And here's the other thing. For everybody that's so quick to want to pull the trigger, right? You want to pull the trigger on this deal and kill it. All right, well, what do you think's going to – do you think somebody's going to come in and do this and all of a sudden you're a contender now? Because they're not. And those guys are going to probably leave with it. Wherever he goes, he's going to go back and be a DC or whatever it is. Guess who's going to be going with him? His defense.
Yep. Pretty much.
You're right back in the same place you were. So unless it is a dumpster fire and you can't do anything but that, you don't want to pull the plug here. Once you make the hire, I mean,
married to it.
For a penny, you're in for a pound,
Yeah. Got to be married to it.
Well, yeah, he probably tied to OU. Well, I mean, yeah, if we're talking about why he's here or whatever, right?
Yeah.
With this being Nick 6 last year in college, do y'all think it was best for him to go to LSU? I think he should have went to the Big 12 schools. I
mean, anywhere he goes is gonna be good.
I don't know. I think that Nick's very good, dude. I don't think that I think he's a top draft pick kind of guy if he's healthy.
Yeah.
But and if you look, man, let's not get it twisted. I think that receivers are divas. I just think that they are. You know what I mean? And I don't know that there didn't get some diva creeping in there. Now I'm a fan of Nick. I'm not going to sit here and dog on him. I know what we're hearing, a lot of different stuff about it, but I'm not going to sit here and play into that and be one of those guys bashing players. I don't do it. And if he felt like that they did him wrong, and I would defer to Teddy and Gabe on this, is that they feel like it was a miscommunication between the medical staff. Venables wasn't happy about the medical staff and the way they handled what happened with Nick. I don't know. I think there's some other stories around, but I heard it from. I mean, look, is there more of an insider than Teddy and Gabe? No,
No. They
there's
know.
not. Right? No,
They know.
they're right in the middle of it, right? Yeah, I don't care. So what? And Jim Knowles wasn't leaving. He is leaving, bro. Come on now. Are you going to be that guy? You've got another Ohio State fan in here that's being pretty chill. You're going to come in being the mouthy guy? That's generally the guys I know.
They gonna get that same treatment that Zach Alley gave us. I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah, no, it sounded
Next day.
exactly like Zach Alley too, didn't it?
Next day.
It sounded just like his ass too, bro.
Next day, Jim Knowles goes to Oklahoma.
Yeah. And by the way, your guy's not even like winning this fucking poll. We got 78 votes. Ryan Day's like the bottom one with Mike Gundy. I can't believe Mike Gundy's not further up. The fuck?
Man, look, whenever you have Lincoln on there.
People that are negative and voicing their opinion are the same ones that can't pay their own bills.
Whenever you have Lincoln on there, man, it's going to always be high. Period. You have two fan base that hate his ass now.
It's not a possibility, dude. It's a freaking lock. Forget about it. There's Coop. All right, hold on. Let me bring him in. Oh, shit. I'm going to have to move both of y'all in here. Give me 1 second, Coop. 1 second. An abomination. Hey, I'm learning this new shit. You don't do none of this stuff, so just relax. Coopster.
It's just me by myself in my new my new role as head of the Hall of Fame podcast that's just in.
Well, the head of the podcast? Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
Big ass head. You definitely got a big ass head.
Big head.
Well,
so it's just a lot of me on the screen. So I don't know if this is what people came to see.
I'm sorry, I got the wrong one up there. Damn it! My fault. Now I got Rick's out. Let me add Rick's back in here. Damn, why is this all fucked up? I thought I had it pretty much there. All righty. So, Coop, what's up, man? This is a good time for you to be here. You just had an Ohio State fan come in here barking that, how dare we, be thinking that Knowles would be coming to Oklahoma. What say you?
I mean, here's the thing is, I said this to a guy who, just basically walked up and walked up to me at the Texas State Fair and was like, "Hey, I know you the podcast, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, here you go." And he just hands me $100 bill and he says, "Thanks, man." He walks off. So he just, I was like, "Hey, man, do you want my number? Like, just in case. I got Venmo too." But got his information, and he's a guy who's decent donor, and for some reason, just again, I don't know why half you guys tune in to hear what I have to say, but at the beginning of this thing, probably close to a month ago, it was like just this fantasy island, right? And it was just all this insider skepticism, and just what does Matthew McConaughey say? Just fugazi, right? So just a bunch of nothing, and then days go by, and you start seeing more and more stuff about it, and you hear that he reached out to us, and so as of right now, that's something that I do know to be true, that he reached out to us. So there's that.
You hear that?
But yeah, I don't. Go ahead. Anyway, so then the game comes about. You figure that once you'd probably hear some insinuation somewhere, or hey, he's been tied to rumors of here and there. And the thing is he's got a fiance and she lives here in Oklahoma. She does a great job. Like he just won a national championship. So, what about moving back home, being part of something that you understand is going to be a good defense? You're going to have a lot of pieces right away. And
not a bunch of guys that are off in the league, and you got to rebuild that defense, and you still got to deal with Larry Johnson's shit on a day to day.
yeah. And so, there was a little hubbub about that too, with maybe him and LJ didn't see eye to eye on things, which happens in coaching world. And eventually you just you want a new challenge. Some people are okay staying where they're at. Look at Akale Gundy, stayed here for years and years and years, and he never tried to go do a bunch of crazy stuff or anything like that. He just liked chilling. And so right now, I will say this: some of the people that I trust the most, one of them says 70% and has been at 70% for a while. One of the guys said, it's a 50-50 shot. And one guy is about 65%. So whether or not you want to believe that it's happening or not, the conversation is happening. And there are talks going. It's been agent stuff. And so my assumption right now in a full on, whatever you want to call it, insiderism or whatever, is there is the conversation, there is stuff going on. Jim Knowles is looking at absolutely everything, and he's going to have to take into account. Let's be some true stuff. Brent Venables is on the hot seat, and if you don't produce a pretty good season,
all right, hold on now.
No, let me finish this because I know where you're going with that. Like this season means pretty much the rest of Brent Venables' head coaching tenure. This season does. It may not mean that he gets fired, but you don't want that hot seat situation because you already got a lot of reasons why you had a bad season this year, right? You got improvements in a lot of those scenarios. You're going to have to go all in. So, I think worst case scenario for this is Brent Venables calls the defense and focuses right there. That's the worst case scenario. That's not a bad scenario.
Agreed on that. I would say the same thing with that. Yes.
Yeah.
That part.
The best case scenario is not only that you end up with Jim Knowles coming over, but maybe he brings another coach for a position that's kind of looking to move on, and then on top of that, I still think that Coach West is going to have a spot on the team if he wants. And so you could go from, maybe hiring the Clemson defense coordinator to him being on the staff along with Jim Knowles. And that's a pretty stinking solid coaching staff on the defensive side. And so is this thing done right now? I don't think it's done right now. Everybody that I talk to feels very, very, very good about it. Very good about it.
Yeah, I think it's done. And look, as far as the hot seat stuff, I don't think that there's no way that they're making this move and firing him short of them going 4-8 next year.
Well, and that's kind of where I'm saying is I think that you look at the schedule and OU's going to be facing 6 first-time starting quarterbacks again this next year, whether it is with a new team or whether it is first time ever as the starter. You still got the pretty rowdy schedule. I think with what you see leaving in Columbus or in Missouri, Columbia, there's you get a little bit easier there. Texas is going to have a challenge on their hand, reloading all the talent that they are about to lose. And so, you've got an opportunity to have a pretty strong defense again. You have anything resembling a heartbeat on offense this year, and you're looking at a potential 8-4 season. And everybody feels completely different. Everybody feels completely different about this.
If you just have a heartbeat, you're 8-4, I think, right?
Yeah. So where I go with this is just the fact that I think that Brent Venables still has the support of all the people he needs the support with, and now it's just the opportunity for him to take more of that head coaching role, that CEO role that seems to be a very in vogue thing to say nowadays. But you heard them talking about Marcus Freeman during the broadcast. Ryan Day being more of a guy who brings in Chip Kelly and kind of takes the reign as the head coach and quit being the play caller. And I think that in order to
It's
do
happening
this
all over the
job.
country, no
Yeah,
matter what your specialty is, right? You're not.
in
You're
order
doing
to
it
do this
everywhere.
job, in order to do this job nowadays, you have to find yourself a balance. You cannot be just the energy guy. You will burn yourself out and it will destroy you. You cannot do that. So you have the opportunity for guys like Todd Bates. If everything routes out in the form, Coach West, Todd Bates, Brent Venables, Jim Knowles, all as potential closers, in recruiting options. And I just think that, that brings a lot of clout is, hey, man, I just led the number one defense in the nation to the national championship. And, I'm already joining a strong Oklahoma squad. So to the 26 and 27 guys, I mean, that's going to pull a lot of clout because the recency bias is going to play more effect than, hey, Oklahoma, won a bunch of championships in the 80s and the 50s, and it won in 2000. So you want some more, recency magic there. And so, I had a
Look, I mean, I
mustache yesterday.
understand. I can
So
understand
it's
not wanting to see him go if you're an Ohio State fan. I mean, he came in and look,
yeah.
at the time that they went and got him, they were not good on that side of the ball.
It was bad. It was,
They were
and they
going
had
right on the same way that you've been seeing Oklahoma head under Lincoln and all that. So
yeah.
that's been the way it is. But look, I don't think that anything points to it the way that the woman does. Dude, it's booty is like having all the infinity stones, fellas. She lives in Oklahoma. She lives in Oklahoma. That's where the booty's at.
You stupid.
It's just
You
a
stupid.
fact,
Hey, listen.
It's just
Listen,
a fact. I'm just being real. Dude, it runs the world. We all know it runs the world.
Yeah, and I just would say this too is you've got you got Alex Grinch, who had the defense of the 2020 year when Ronnie Perkins, Nick Bonito, Perrion Winfrey, Isaiah Thomas, and that's what Ohio State's defense looked like before Knowles got there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was that deal where you had all these like high caliber athletes and defenders, and you couldn't get it done. And it wasn't in the regular season; it was in the playoffs. And so, I mean, I think Jim Knowles, this is, an absolute parallel move. He's going to get a little bit of a raise. He gets to come and be closer to the family, and I mean, that's the benefits for it. He gets another opportunity. I mean, listen, he comes in, this defense is going to be really, really good. It's a pretty good opportunity for him, because if OU makes a big jump, a lot of people, even though it's Brent Venables' defense, a lot of people are going to say, you know what, this was big. But you just saw Ohio State do it by bringing Chip Kelly in. Because Ryan Day is already one of the best offensive minds in college football, and then you bring Chip Kelly in. So now you can kind of share those offensive responsibilities. You can share, a lot of that clout. And, just be honest with you, Chip Kelly probably wasn't a big known to a lot of recruits in the 24, 25, 26 class. They don't remember those big dynamic Oregon offenses and stuff like that. They have no recollection of those things. Yeah. All they know is what they've seen here in the past 2 or 3 years, and that's what sticks out to them the most. Plus that NIL conversation.
Well, here's the thing. What you said earlier, if you do get Jim Knowles and BV and Wes Goodwin comes to be an analyst or whatever, and you got Todd Bates, who can you not go into their living room and get?
It's
say no to that.
It's a pretty strong thing. And here's the thing is, I don't think, and I didn't say this yet, but congratulations to Ohio State. I was an absolute disbeliever in the mercenary type of stuff. I think that Michigan loss probably was the best thing and saved their season. It absolutely did. You heard the stories during the broadcast. And again, that stuff happens in almost every single team, every single season. And it just gets blown up in some of the best times, because again, it's like when you're absolutely rolling like Georgia or Alabama was, and you don't need those moments. But, Tim Tebow had that moment against, was it Mississippi State or somebody they lost to, the year that they played us in the national championship. And, he's like, I will never fail this team again. and you have those player only meetings and all those things become so cool. But it's like they happen all the time. So it was a deal towards like, hey,
It
do
doesn't
we want
always
this
work.
narrative? Do we
It
want this
doesn't always
narrative to
work.
be the same? Do we want it to be the same that we are a really, really good regular season Big Ten team because it's us, Michigan, and Penn State is the participation trophy of the conference, and we win it every year, and we go up against bigger guys, and So, congratulations, Ohio State. You guys did it. It was great. I think you did it in spite of Will Howard, even though that he had himself one of his best games I think I've ever seen. I think Gabe Eichert called him the best tight end at quarterback he's ever seen play. Multiple times when he was at K-State. And so,
I've said this. We were saying this all last week that the one that really, and even Coach said it, being a Notre Dame fan, you're going to have to get to Will Howard and make him make mistakes, because if you don't, you're in trouble. And they did it. And the mistakes he made late, it let him back in, but he also made a big time throw on that one that kind of sealed it up. That was
that 7 route. That's
really
7. I mean, that was
bro.
Yeah, Coach, tell me when you saw him motion inside towards the middle, towards the hash.
Hey,
and
I already knew what was coming.
There, you knew it was man. You knew they were coming.
Yeah.
All Will Howard has to do is put it in a 20 yard circle, and he was going to get it. It was over.
Yeah.
And so, I'll say this: it was. It was a play.
If you were OC, you saw that coming when he moved him in to the.
And
to the
you saw Marcus Freeman's reaction too. Like he saw the whole thing coming.
Yep.
He knew what was going to happen, and at that point, as a defensive back, 50-50 is your best opportunity you got in that time, because you were left out on an island versus a pro.
Hey, pass interference for a touchdown. Pass interference, grab him or something. But the play calling. Will Howard played his butt off the first half. Going 15-15, that's unheard of.
It was 14 of. He went 14 of 15. He missed the 15.
That one on that wheel route when it was a 50 ball. Yeah.
So, but still, that's you set the record for the most consecutive passes in a championship game. It was just, and you know what? Tell me this is I don't run a sports book or anything, but I promise you that there's a lot of puckering for after that first was it 18 play drive for almost 10 minutes by Notre Dame. At that point,
9 minutes and 30 seconds.
It was, that was beautiful. And I just remember going into our Discord and someone posted what I went in there to post is, don't ever trust that scripted first drive, because, things turn and things can look really, really different pretty quickly. And Riley Leonard, it was just not sustainable. That guy was getting absolutely destroyed, and it's not like he was playing, no offense, but it's not like he was playing, defensive, players from like USC. That was Ohio State, and they have some thumpers. And Caleb Downs, he had one thing on his mind, and it was to hit people hard whenever he got that opportunity.
Knock the shit out of him.
He just hit him.
Yep.
Well, that first drive is always delusional. That's what OU did against USC. Went down and scored first, and everybody thought, "Oh man, this might be a blowout," and then we got blowed out.
Well, but it was the way they did it, right?
Yeah.
When they 19 play drive, that was if that was a sustainable way to go and do things. But he had 9 runs on that play, and on that touchdown was, right before that, it looked like he was about to yak all over the freaking field.
He was getting hit, man. He was getting hit.
He was getting popped, and so you knew that, look, you better hope that this doesn't, you can only afford to have one possession a quarter then if this is going to be how it is, because there's just not, and it wasn't going to be sustainable. There's just no way you can, because eventually a defense like this is going to shut you down. And they did right away. And man, there was no stopping what Ohio State was doing last night. And Notre Dame had a good defense. They were missing some guys up front. That kept them from getting to Will, and not being able to get to Will Howard, it screwed them. But look, shout out to Ohio State. They went out and played the game that you wondered if they were going to, right? You wondered if that's what they were going to do, because we've seen them not get up all the way. Now, I think obviously, like you said, I believe that it galvanized them when they lost that other game to Michigan.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sent them in the right direction, but that doesn't always work that way. And
Yeah.
all it
It
would
doesn't.
take would be, look, I felt like the Texas game, they should have blown them out too. Had it not been for Travion taking a swing at that guy, it would have been they probably would have, because that killed their momentum. Texas goes down, gets momentum for a second, then obviously they take it right back with that touchdown. But to me, they could have blown them out too, and it just they took half the second quarter off, or else they probably would have.
And listen, there's don't get it twisted either that the intestinal fortitude by Ohio State to do that in their 15th game of the season or 14th game of the season, like this is a pathway that no team has ever taken before, going through this many games against that many high caliber teams.
Facts.
And say whatever you say about the 12th, the Arizona States and whatnot, but like you still had to go against higher level pressure pack situations, and Ohio State to basically turn around after that first drive and say it ain't over yet, like that was pretty impressive. And then Notre Dame, I mean, same situation. It's you're out there and you're just going and you're asking Riley Leonard in that final game of the season just to, hey man, body up, and you're taking off, because I mean it's not like the dude was getting full speed and taking on some of the safeties or the defensive backs. Like dude was getting hit at the line pretty much every single time he was running the ball. He was taking a hit from a linebacker or a defensive lineman.
Well, here's the thing also on that, Jason and Coop. It was a mismatch from the gate. You can't have a team that plays man-to-man, guard receivers that like to go cross routes across the field. You'll be playing catch up the whole game.
Yes.
Or
the
the
levels.
Receivers like that.
And you can do a cover 2 man front, something like that, or you can do a man-to-man with a cover 2 front. You can't play man-to-man for the whole game against these receivers.
I think you got to stick somebody on Jeremiah Smith at all times.
You got to have a spy on him.
Yeah.
You got to have a spy on him. But he wasn't the one that killed him.
Boxing one.
Well,
I think it was like the boxing one with Jeremiah Smith. You better have somebody with him.
Yeah, but Tate was the one that killed you.
Yeah,
no doubt. What a great game for him. What a great game.
Every third
very
down.
Much.
Very,
very much. And you know what? And I think that I gained a lot of respect for Jeremiah Smith, because right after, during that Texas game, I mean, Texas did everything that they could potentially do. But the thing is like, Emeka Ekuba was, he was the number one wide receiver in his class. Carnell Tate's, he's a baller. Then you've got, then you get Jeremiah Smith, who's just a freaking alien, and that doesn't take it. Like, don't they have the little 80? The tight ends.
The Avengers on one scene.
the tight ends, number 88. He would just, he's just like, he reminds me of like Udonis Haslem, like from the Miami Heat, like a guy who just will get in there and mix with absolutely everybody. And but then also, then you've got like a 2-back set with Travion Henderson and the other cat, which I can't. It's just Quinshon Judkins. Like you're putting him out in passing.
Quinshon had a game. He had a game. He had the game of his life. Real quick, read this. What Jen is talking about. I think this is a great point right here. That's why I've had it highlighted for a while. But same way that Ryan Day's an offensive mind and still went and hired Chip, we can do that with Knowles, my guy. That's what he's. I think that's a hell of a point. A hell of a point right there, because of the fact that Ryan Day needed to stop thinking so much about the offense. He needed to be more of that. I think that's everybody is talking about. You were just saying it a few minutes ago. It's one of those things that everybody's doing it now. There's only a few guys that are left that are still going to call their own plays. And when it doesn't go well, eventually that goes away or you go away, right? So we've seen that a lot. They've even talked a little bit about Lincoln Riley turning over play calling duties. I would freaking lose it if he did. But it's not going well. It's not going
Yeah,
well.
and you know what? I would say, yeah, Lincoln Riley. I don't know if he's going to do that. It's just not.
No,
It's
he'll
not
leave
something
first.
that's.
He'll leave
Yeah,
first.
he's I mean, you got to give it up to guys like Chip Kelly. Like you
Yep.
killed it at Oregon. You have struggled absolutely every stop
Yeah.
since then. And so you come to Ohio State and you just go, listen, this is what I'm really good at, is just calling these plays, calling the
Yep.
offense. And listen, it doesn't also take a genius when you've got the offensive skill set. Now you still got to put them in the right position, because you were talking about that, those crossers, but they had those layered routes too. And those layered routes, almost every single time, you just put somebody in jeopardy to where they've got to make a decision on Jeremiah Smith or Tate, and they're going to, just by human nature, gravitate towards Jeremiah Smith, and that's why you saw Tate just have such big success, all night long. Was just you had more threats, and I know that it's hard for us to even talk about wide receiver play, over in our side of the fence, but that's something I want to see next year. And I also, if I get a chance, one thing I would beg Ben Arbuckle to do is look at that game film and get some stuff ready for Taylor Tatum. The guys, because the running back passing game was, a highlight of Ohio State's, during that game.
Should have been doing this shit all year anyway.
That first touchdown that they ran, that motion inside, fake bubble screen back outside to Smith, wide
Mhm.
open. And the bad
Yeah.
part about it, the defensive back was calling it. He was jumping up and down calling it, and he over pursued the jet sweep, and they came right back and was nobody there.
It's just, there were so many play calls to where, like, again, between Discords and, Twitter, I'm not going to call it X. I just can't do it. It just sounds weird to say it. But between those two, like, how many times where you would see somebody pop up and be like, great play call. And it happens so many times, like I said, it just took a lot for Ohio State's defense after that first, drive to think that, like, they still had a chance to, like, dictate what was going to happen that night, because it's not like they bludgeoned them down the field, with big plays or anything like that. It was 6 here and 4 here and 3 here and 2 here.
Yeah.
They had a
And
couple of big runs, but there was like 2.
and
And then
it
they
was
helped them out a
without
couple of penalties too. You know what I mean?
and without without Jeremiah Love, doing much in that game either. And
That's the part
Yeah.
that they were talking about that on Coach Rick's show earlier today, and we were talking about it last night. Coach was beside himself over it. How do you want to give that guy 3 fucking touches, bro?
It makes no sense. It's like with Jaquez Hunter and Auburn this past year, how do you not have that guy touch the ball 30, 35 times a game between, going out for a route, and, because he's just electric, and he's a guy who it's going to be there. It's going to be there often. You can run a main play with the drag to him and you still have an option. And it's just like, hey, listen, I really don't want to use my best player too often. But yeah, listen, it's just time. Ohio State has had this receiver and offensive skill set talent for years and years and years, and when it came time to the big game, they just couldn't make it happen. Now, that being said, they also are a field goal away from the Georgia game a couple years back too. So it's not like they went completely belly up in that
calls, right?
Yeah,
they've had a lot of close calls in the playoff. I don't think Ryan Day's lost, but like 10 or 11 games outside of the Michigan games.
Yeah,
So Garrett, real quick, Garrett Bulware sent us a super chat through Venmo, which I much appreciate that, guys, because then YouTube
that goes all to you,
half of it, or 40% anyway. So appreciate that, Garrett. $25 says, great show tonight, Jason. I agree. It's a great show. Always good when I have the coach and Coop in here. Well, by the way, Coop, I gotta tell you, man, you got my ass in trouble. You know what you did. You know what you did.
Are we going there again?
Oh, no. I reached out to our friends and I let them know that I was in the wrong that night, and that that was a while back, and so I heard it kind of bubbled up again. I was with Legend on his, and one of their followers came over and started bombing Legend and Legend booted him pretty quickly. And but I totally forgotten about it, so I reached back out to him and I was like, "Hey, let you know, dude jumped on our shows and was trying to bomb on people, and I said, I'll let you know that I did wrong. Whatever you need me to do, I'll do. But yeah,
Look,
it's
the thing is I'm not even really mad at the Twins so much, and I'm not going to get into having this conversation. To be quite honest, I was just busting your chops, really, because then I told him that day too. It's not a thing. It's not a big thing. I think I know why you said what you said. It's the allowing people. We don't allow people to talk like that on these shows where you just come in and don't have anything backing up what you're saying, and let's just fire everybody and screw these kids and screw that kid and stuff like.
yeah.
This is not how you want to do things. I don't agree with it. They've talked enough about me over the last couple of months that I just decided after I went in and was kind of participating in the show and got kind of railed on. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and say it. So I did, but it didn't, it turned into crazy town after that. So it was fun. It's been fun, but no,
I didn't know about it until after the fact. So it was after all your stuff, after you'd already had the conversation and everything. So, but anyway, I digress. But no, it's listen, it's there's a lot of people doing this. There's more and more people doing this. There's new shows popping up. Again, people who love the content are gonna really keep it coming, and keep we enjoy doing it, and we love that you guys enjoy consuming all the content. That's one of the big reasons. But it does get a little chippy. You see it in the in the paid sites. They go at each other every once in a while. It's like they said in Godfather, these things need to happen every few years or so. Cleans up all the bad blood. We'll take shots at each other because this was a tough season. But again, I fully expect we're gonna have another fun season this next year. I mean, it could go so many different ways, and you just want to see things like this Knowles situation and Arbuckle situation. You want to see them fix some of the issues that we had last year, the ones that you can.
Absolutely. And Charles, thanks for the super chat here. $20 from Charles Crows Fly High. You didn't add nothing to it, so let me see what else you got. Something behind it there, Charles. Well, I'll keep an eye out on your next comment and make sure that it hits the screen.
I don't think so, but I dig Charles's name. I like when I see his name pop up.
Hey, he's my guy, man. Appreciate it, bud. Appreciate it. Yeah, and look, to me, there's no doubt that you want to see more food on. I was saying this to Trap House, to Big Trap earlier. You got to see some more food on the plate this year, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and blame everything on Brent Venables. I don't think that it's fair to blame everything on Brent Venables, and I know that Brent will not sit here and blame everything on anybody else. He's only going to take it all onto himself, which I respect that. But we all know that he wasn't always in charge of the decisions that were being made. That being said, and there was all the injuries and everything else, and the fact that Seth Luttrell and Jodon just they weren't for it, right? Yeah, it is what it is there. In the end,
yeah,
I believe that the fact that he does take, all the responsibility for the way things went. And, I think that people think that it's turning into a shit show over here, and that I heard somebody from a SEC podcast the other day say there's only 2 good coaches in the entire league, that nobody else can win one. And one of those coaches was Sark, and that's bullshit. We know that's bullshit. In the end, I would tell you that just waiting, all you really had to have was even just a decent offense this year, and things are probably different. And that was with 9 guys off of that offense losing their season or part of their season to injury. Yeah. Right? It's just wild, bro. It's just wild to me to think that you're going to be that bad. I think that if they're serviceable on offense this coming year, I think that 8, 9, 10 wins is not out of the realm of possibility. I think that you could definitely go out there and do it. And if Mateer is everything that people are talking about him being, along with some of these receivers stepping up, you get a big year from Burks, get a big year from a guy like Giovanni Gibson. Hey, if Jaden Gibson comes back like he was whenever he got hurt, oh shit. Now we're talking, because you got some running backs back there that could do some damage too. And I like this. I love the offensive line that you're starting to see build there, right? Aside from the freshmen.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw in the it was, which bowl game was it that Foje was in? Foje was, absolutely lighting it up, doing all the things he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Moved in and played guard,
Polynesian Bowl or whatever.
I can't remember, but he played guard a lot too, and then in the game, I guess the center bounced out, and so he had to play center for. I guess the center had some issues, and so he had to play center most of the game. So Foje's already bouncing all over the place, and Bill Beanbo's probably licking his chops at that. But yeah, I mean, I think that you saw Logan Howland fix a couple issues, learn on the job, and he played really, really well. I mean, I hate the fact that he had a cleanup surgery, so he's going to be, out and not able to, work on the strength per se. But, you've got, it's going to be pretty much like we were going into this year. It's going to be a situation where you go, all right, what can the new quarterback do, and how well can the offensive line play? And have the perceived strength at receiver that we had coming into this year. But again, what we will have versus what we did have this year is going to be, I think it's going to be night and day. So you got to go out and play now, and it's there's a lot of talent on this team. It's going to continue to have more and more talent every single year. And right now, there's a lot to be excited about. I know that I've heard Gabe also say that, he's been on teams, and when you have a quarterback, when you know that you have a dude at quarterback, just the whole team it just changes how you walk around the place. Yeah, and so though the Underwear Olympics proves nothing when it comes time to fall football, the stories that you're hearing about Mateer just knowing the offense, being able, he's a guy who's charismatic. He's trying to outwork everybody in all these drills. Like, that's what you want to hear, because, a lot of us heard that, Jackson Arnold had a little bit, more of affinity with the girlfriend, and, football just wasn't his thing. And so, you didn't see him taking people out and everything.
Pissed down his leg every time somebody got close to him too.
It's, it's just different, because when you saw how Baker treated the team, and, how Kyler was more of a silent leader, but he was the most talented guy on the field whenever he showed up. Jalen Hurts outworked absolutely everybody. Dylan Gabriel comes in, and he's taking everybody out. And then Jackson Arnold, you never heard about any of that stuff. You never heard about him hanging out with the team. And so that's where I think a lot of people are already getting pretty jacked about Mateer, because
he's the cool kid on campus, right? You know what I mean?
I mean,
getting his way and all that kind of stuff. I don't look at him like I look at Spencer Rattler, but it isn't very far off. And I think he wasn't as talented as Spencer Rattler was.
And I don't put those two in the same category, because I think I'm not going to even pretend. I've never been a Gatorade 5-star quarterback. But there's a medium balance. It's not like Jackson Arnold was a hot dog, whereas Spencer Rattler thought he was God's gift to football. But I do think that Jackson Arnold probably spent a lot of his time walking around being regarded as this phenomenal athlete, and sometimes in trying to maintain humility, you kind of just turn off everything about who you are. And so I don't know if that's the case. Maybe going to Auburn, gets him out of his shell. He's experienced more failure this year than he has, probably ever. And so how do you bounce back from it?
I've talked about that a lot. And you generally don't see them do it. Once they lose that, it seems like with quarterbacks, especially, once they lose that confidence, that cockiness that they kept, because you have to have a certain level of that to play quarterback at this level, especially. And
listen,
you look all around, there's a Heisman Park outside that says that this is the level that you have to do it at. You know what I mean?
And Jason, have you ever seen the NFL Films thing where Peyton Manning is absolutely just lighting into Jeff Saturday on the sideline, talking about, you just run the play call that we call, and like he is jumping down Jeff Saturday's ass. And Jeff Saturday was one of his best friends, and so like you see that there's a level of the quarterback too that you have to.
Peyton wasn't. Peyton was definitely had his moments for sure. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, you as the quarterback are the leader, and sometimes if you need to jump in somebody's stuff, you got to.
Yeah. I don't know that he's going to start at Auburn. First of all, he's going to have to battle that out. Penn State sports talk, but we'll see. Hey, Coach, you want to take this? You want to take this question from Michael Neal?
I just answered it.
What answered the shit to the damn audience here?
I just typed it in.
What are you doing?
As I said, he's getting bigger, faster, and stronger. He's getting bigger, faster, and stronger.
Would you like to expound on that a little bit?
I'm gonna tell you, man. Let me tell you something, man. We're back on speaking terms, and everything's back good. He didn't know about the hate with Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's getting it from all the players. I mean, they're looking at footage already about what they want to do and how they're going to do things. So he's excited. I think he's kind of nervous and everything, which is so, but I think he's ready. I think he's ready to go out there and prove what should have happened 2 or 3 years ago.
I love that. I noticed that there was some trash talk coming back and forth between them and Arkansas because he made a comment about those guys being slow in the secondary last year.
Yeah.
So he didn't have a lot of catches in the game, but he did have a big catch. And I mean, up against UAPB and against Arkansas, it's not exactly a good matchup for anybody. But I love it that he had an edge to him, and I love it that he believes that this kid runs routes. Is what I would tell you. The route running is elite. And for being as big as you are, generally, I mean, I think that's what you saw when Gabe did that in the weeds about him. He was talking about how usually you're not able to move on a dime like that, and with that much fluidity when you're that big and lanky as some of these receivers are. But that's not an issue with Giovanni. I think that the guy is a flat out specimen. He can have a huge year.
Well, and the thing is, I don't think that any of these wide receivers are being stared at in their face and saying, you have to go out and be the number one guy.
No.
And I promise you this, some of the testing that has been going down, like with Keontae Lewis, he's shown out pretty well in some of the testing numbers. And no, the university's not going to put that out there because they see that as, advanced scouting. You get somebody's name circled, they run a 4.25 or something like that. There's going to be, anytime that person comes in the game, there's going to have an analyst that's saying, that's him. So,
his name.
Yeah, you're gonna know that. And I'm not saying that Keontae ran a 4.25, but all these guys have all these transfer guys have tested. Their testing numbers have been, people have been pleasantly surprised. So you add both of the Giovannis together. And you're going to have both the Gibsons. You're going to have both the Gibsons together. You're going to have some height along with carry on, and you're going to have a good blend at wide receiver this year. And again, I don't think anybody has to be the man. And I hate going back to national championship year 2000, but like that year was Curtis Fagan, Antoine Savage, Damian Mackey, Andre Wolfolk, Josh Norman. Like those guys, none of those guys were the number one guy. They were just somebody who, when it was their turn, they did what they were supposed to. And I hope that's what we see this year, from this offense.
I mean, if this offense can give you, 30 points, you're going to win a lot of ball games. You're going to win a lot of ball games but Jason, I'm going to go back to what you said before the start of the season. You was already calling for what? 2025? You were saying that was the year?
Yeah.
So we got all the right pieces in right now. Defense is lock and loaded. We got some good receivers in, great offensive line, good quarterback, great running back. I think the only thing we need right now, man, is just for this team to be confident enough to go out there and be able to do it. Because we're talking about John Mateer. When Baker was there, even Jalen, you have to be a leader. You can't go in that locker room as a quarterback and be a follower. You have to be a leader.
Yeah.
And a leader comes in all shapes and forms. When I quarterback from my high school back in the day, I would have pizza night, offensive line. You do something that the guys are like, well, damn, man, he didn't have to do that, but he did. You know,
Yeah.
that's showing them guys, man, that I got your back. If there was somebody that did something to my offensive line, I'll get up in their ass and get up in their face. That lets my guys know I'm going to fight for you. I'm going to do whatever it takes for you. That comes back on you 10 times. So I think we got that this year. I think John Mateer is a little cocky, which is a good thing, and we need that.
Yeah. I think you were starting to see that out of, and I believe I know people are going to say what they want, but I think that no matter what happens, I think that Hawkins is going to be just fine if you need him too. You know what I mean? I think that he's coming into his own. I think he should have definitely played out the rest of the year. He should have. He didn't. But, I think that we're talking about coaching decisions weren't good. The personnel decisions, I don't think that you can talk that bad about anybody that they've brought in personnel-wise as far as the players are concerned. They haven't all worked out perfectly, but they never do anywhere. The fact is we got a bunch of people that are Oklahoma fans that are just being damn spoiled rotten because they've won so much. And they won so much in a league that was kind of starting to go the other direction. Texas wasn't good for so long. Okie like gags all over themselves at every fucking turn. And so Lincoln fell under a lucky star for the time that he was there. He took over a well-running machine and turned it into a shit show. Then he left. You see that the shit show has continued in Southern California for him. It's not the same here. Imagine if BV gets the same machine that Lincoln got.
It's gonna be nasty.
Imagine that. And I mean, I think that this is where you have to bring this into play. Is you can talk about the 6 and 7 year, the first year, if you want to. They had to replace 45 guys that left when Lincoln left, including 2 5-star quarterbacks. And the only really decent players on the defense that weren't freshmen.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Go ahead.
Sure.
And I'm sorry, Jason, I didn't mean to interrupt you, man.
No, please do.
Are we okay? I see a comment that says top 4 in the SEC. Are we fearing, or do we fear Alabama going there this year?
I don't.
After what just happened?
I think it depends on if they get Grubb back or not.
I don't. Here's the thing, guys: is who's Alabama's starting quarterback? Is it going to be?
That's what I'm saying.
Is it going to be? I mean, is it going to be spring transfer? Is it going to be? Yes. Is the 5-star freshman? Is he really, really good? Sure. Yeah. Is he going to?
It could be that kid though that they brought with them from Washington that they really liked, or
they've got Ty Simpson back there. But anyway, I just say this is, Jason, I was on here calling out some of Alabama stuff, and I posted it in your Discord before the beginning of the year. Is you had, the worst returning offensive production in the conference at wide receiver and running back. You were completely changing everything you were doing from a schematic standpoint. That toughness and that Nick Saban factor, to where you don't want to be the one to jack up this long running, train he had going on. And now that's gone, and you saw that. You saw so many different things.
They're on him too, man. They're on him.
Do they have Ryan Williams, and can DeBoer, eventually do something? Yes, but I think it may be year 4 or 5 for DeBoer before he actually gets, what he wants going at Alabama. I don't know if he gets that much.
He won't get much time in Alabama.
I promise you, if he throws out 3 or 4 losses this year, it's going to be really, really bad. And right now, they've lost a lot of guys. They've had talent issues on offense since Jameson Williams left. The last time that they had all those big time wide receivers, starting with Julio Jones and ending with Devontae Smith and Jameson Williams. But until Ryan Williams, they really haven't had a guy. Now they've got Ryan Williams, but they.
Wow. Hold on now. They did, but it's been a while. It's been a while, right?
But who? Since Jameson Williams left last year.
Jameson Williams. Okay, no, not since him, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ryan Williams is the first guy.
Really good receivers at Alabama, though.
But that's what I'm saying is this year coming into this year, they didn't have a returning guy. Well, they're going to have Ryan Williams returning. They're going to lose a lot on the offensive line. And I just think that, I mean, everybody sees that the blood in the water, and people are they want to take a tick because beating Alabama right now still means as much to them as it would have if Nick Saban was coaching. And kind of same thing with Oklahoma. That's we saw it. When BV took over that first year, everybody threw their knockout punch, and so I'm not scared of Alabama. I think that they've got major issues, and if it's going to be a situation where he gets it turned around, I mean, he's going to have to have some kind of a resurgent year, probably next year in order to not be on the hot seat going into 26.
Listen,
Okay.
until I see them lose a lot of games in the second year under Kalen DeBoer's never lost more than 3 games in a season. So, I mean, this year was the first time, I guess, if you counting the bowl game, obviously, but he went 9-3. I don't think that they're as bad. Now, do I think that they could go the other way? I do. I think that Kalen DeBoer is a hell of a coach, though. Now, I'm not sure that I love their offensive coordinator, and I don't think that he has very much feel for it. But I also don't think it would take a whole lot to change things up. I think it's just a matter of running the ball a little bit better. And I think that you obviously have to have a guy that can throw better. I think that the biggest problem with them, Jalen Milroe, as much of a great athlete as he is, he reminds it's the same thing you're seeing with Lamar Jackson and why they cannot get past the second round, third round. They got to the conference final last year, but they lost. Because yes, we saw him pass for 70% this year on 4,000 yards because he threw bombs and short balls. That's it. You can talk about Mark Andrews dropping that ball that was on his feet if you want to, but as a pro, do you not have to make a better throw than that? If you're the MVP of the league, do you not need to make a better throw than that?
That ball should not bend down by his knees.
Right. And this is the same thing that I would say about Jalen Milroe. We said it before the game that the only chance Oklahoma had to win that game was to keep Milroe in the pocket. Knock the shit out of him. Do not let him run, because if he runs on you, he's going to hit you deep with the ball. You're going to be screwed. And you still couldn't stop him from doing that with Ryan Williams to some extent, but he's not good enough in that 12 to 25-yard passing range that you got to be really good at against good defenses in the SEC and certainly in the NFL, talking about Lamar. You just have to realize that it is a different game, but you've got to be able to throw the football. And right now, that's not what they're great at. And I don't know why you tried to stick him. That's like square peg, round hole with me. Why are you trying to fucking be a passing team with Jalen Milroe? It didn't make sense.
Well, hey, Jason, let me finish this so you guys can give me the whole answer to it. All right. I said Alabama. All right.
Yeah, okay.
So out of these teams that Oklahoma lost to, y'all give me a yes or no if y'all feel like Oklahoma.
I love this already. Go ahead.
Is going to beat them. And then I'll tell you the reason why. All right. Mm-hmm. South Carolina.
Nope.
What do you guys think?
I think that's the hardest game on our schedule.
I don't. I think it's hard because you're in Columbia. I think that, and I like Lenore Sellers. I think that it's a shit show under Shane Beamer, and I just don't see that getting a whole lot better. I don't.
Yeah, it's going to get worse.
I'm less worried about that than I think most people are. Go ahead.
They lost some guys on that defensive side to Clemson.
Yeah.
Since Clemson decided to go into the portal. So some of them guys and everything they had last year are not coming back again. That's why I feel like, yes, sir. Go ahead.
I mean, there was more than one guy that got after our offensive line. It just seems now again. The reason why I say that that's the hardest one is until this offensive line shows me that they can keep somebody off, quarterback's ass, consistently. I'm probably going to stay there because LSU is at home, and I think LSU is probably going to win the conference. I would say LSU might be my odds-on favorite for the national championship. Now they're going to have to. Chip Kelly's going to have to do some changing of his fate and of some of his demons too. But I mean, I know they did lose a couple. Brian Kelly, sorry, I said Chip Kelly. Brian Kelly. It's we do these shows at like 10 o'clock at night. You never know what's going to come out. At least I didn't say Kelly Clarkson. But yeah, no, I would say this is, I think that South Carolina was actually better than they even showed last year, because I think they're a couple plays away from probably having 1 or 2 losses only, and I think that that's a can they take if they take a step, I still say that I'm pretty scared. I guess that's who I worry about the most.
All right. What about Ole Miss?
They're in trouble. They're in trouble because they don't have the same law enacted by the governor as Oklahoma, where you can now funnel your NIL funds through the school so that they get a return. They can put it through their foundations and get tax write-offs and shit like that for it. They're not going to do that again when it didn't pay off. That came from Marcus Dent. It's just not happening.
Yeah, and they're not doing it as much now. They do
like
already have.
Though. I like their quarterback situation though.
Is it Simmons?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the lefty.
So, I do think that they take a major step back. I think Jackson Dart he just kept plays alive, and he just gave them. But again, that's another coach who has his demons. His Lane Kiffin is. You arguably had the probably. I would say you probably have the same amount of, maybe only Ohio State was probably the only other team that had probably more talent than Ole Miss this year.
All right.
Talent-wise, you're probably right. Yeah.
What about Missouri?
Hey, Next question. Fuck
out of here.
Oops. Hey, man, look. Okay. Tough one. Tough one. Texas.
Yeah, I've always worried about Texas.
Whenever Oklahoma has a great offense, they normally win that game against Texas.
I'm always worried about Texas, though. Even when Texas sucks shit, I'm always worried about Texas.
All right. Tennessee.
I am less worried. Less worried now.
Yeah, but they are going to Neyland. Yes, I'm worried about that one too.
Now, I would say that, like, I had a thought of how Nico was going to progress throughout the whole season. And I thought this might be an unwinnable game for this team, going into 2025, going up there. I just didn't see enough progression. Now, he's going to have a new year. He's going to, he's got a couple of receivers that are going to be new to the to the importance of every down play. You lose running back, and then there's a couple of guys that they're going to lose on the defensive side. So it is a Neyland, and that is something to worry about. But I'm not as worried,
bro.
All right, two more. What about Auburn?
We beat Auburn.
No.
All right, so last one. LSU.
No, because Jackson Arnold is on the plate that day. That may be the day that he loses his job.
Here's the thing. We talked about the Tennessee game. We played awful and still only lost that game by 10 points. With the defense that's coming back and with a pretty good, let's just say a pretty good mediocre offense. Let's just play a decent offense. I think you go in there and you win that ball game. Now, it will be loud as all hell. That's going to be the biggest stadium that you're going to play in. So I think I still think it's a W against Tennessee, because we went in there with a shit show last year and almost won that game from behind.
And I would say this is, you go up to Neyland and win that game, and the season goes well or better than a lot of people outside the program expect. And the Mateer Mayfield comps.
Yep. Will be.
Hey, I'm not making those damn comps, bro. Not doing it.
Hey, by the way, if you see anything anywhere that the Jim Knowles hiring is done. It is not
I know.
accurate.
Yeah, I know. It came on
I've
my
already
phone.
been seeing it too. I hadn't said
It,
shit
wa-
yet about
it was an oops. It was an oops.
Yeah,
which
everybody
means
trying
that
to be the first.
it'll be here by morning now, guys. Good news.
Everybody
It's
trying to be first.
it's hard, man. Hey, listen, I'm not going to say who, but there have been times where we've had people who are set to commit the next day, for a scheduled commit, and one of the boards send me the graphic that they have up already, and don't share it out. And that's one of the biggest things is like I don't ever care to be a newsbreaker, and I'm not going to, just because you do it wrong and you have people calling you and asking you questions that you don't want to talk to.
Yeah.
But man, that thing terrifies me, of having some news that you're trying to get a post ready for and you accidentally hit send, or you don't hit the schedule correct. That's
Ooh.
a scary feeling.
Mhm.
You know, the one
Hey,
game that scares me next year is LSU. That's the
Penn
only game that
State.
scares me.
Yeah, I think you should be worried about them. I think that they're probably better than they were, and that's pretty decent. Nussmeier, you got to look at him as probably the best quarterback returning, to the league next year. As far as it being a guy, and there's not many of them coming back. So I would say maybe Lenoris Sellers, I don't know that Lenoris ends up having the kind of year that people want him to have. That's why I don't believe in them. But I'll just say real quick, Penn State, they're going to be ahead of Oklahoma in the preseason standings. What the fuck does that mean? So what? It's being ahead at the end that matters. And they've got a trash schedule again next year, and they still won't be better than Oklahoma.
Sometimes having that trash ass schedule doesn't prepare you for what's ahead when you get to
Sure
the
shit don't.
playoffs.
Sure shit don't. Oklahoma handed it to him. That was Jackson Arnold, man. Like, what a game. But yeah, look. Anyway, LSU, yes, I would be more worried about it. And that one's at home. You want to win that game. But really, I think looking at it, am I as worried about some of these teams as I was this past season? No. I think that now Tennessee, though, having to go into Neyland and play in that, and I assume that Nico's going to be better than he was. I don't know that he has the weapons that he had, though. Right? You don't have your running back. You don't have, I just don't know that they're as good. Those receivers that they had, I mean, Square White left. And then who was the big guy that they had? He was a big freaking dog, man. In the end, I think that, to me, I would just tell you that I think that they're probably, some of these teams are on their way back up. They're going to have to go back the other way. As far as Alabama's concerned, I've been saying this. I'm not predicting their demise until I see the shit. I'm just not. And plus, you got to go to T-Town. So,
do you think that his type of style is not, fit for the SEC yet?
I think it's one season out of playing for Nick Saban. It's different. It takes time to adjust to it. I don't think that I don't know that I'm ready to answer that question yet. I don't think anybody is. I think you can project and say that what you think, and that's fair, but I'm not ready to do it yet.
Gotcha. Well,
I don't know that because the talent level is still there. If they just put it together right, then that's the thing. And their defense was a lot better towards the end of the season than it had been. I mean, they have a good defensive coordinator for sure.
Yeah.
Do they get Ryan Grubb back? That would help them. Either that, or I think Kalen DeBoer is going to have to take over the play calling, because I don't think that other guy's worth the shit.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah, my Twitter keeps going off over and over again. I'm just gonna turn it off.
What does?
It keeps giving me notifications about Jim Knowles.
Yeah. That's all right, though. We will, if you're wondering if the news is going to pop at 9.
The tier? Bro, you don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
man, I'm just saying, like, dude could be a really, really good quarterback, and I'm not going to debate you on that one. But Mateer was, I
He had
mean, the
50 touchdowns.
number one transfer portal quarterback, until Beck hit, which that's debatable. And
It's
then
debatable.
also like he's in the
Very debatable.
top five as far as like Heisman chances, and so I mean, like, man, again, just dude accounted for 41 touchdowns, and I know for damn sure that Bo didn't.
Any quarterback that almost run for 1,000 yards, you a problem.
It's
He
not
ran for
exactly
what?
the same as playing. Again, I've been saying this about. I got to stick to the same thing I was saying about the running back at Boise State. So it was in the Mountain West, and they did lose to freaking New Mexico. So I'm not going crazy about Mateer just yet. I do like the guy. I think that he's got moxie, and I've watched their offense. I like what they do. I think they're going to be really good. I think you got a tough schedule. I think you definitely are right that Missouri's schedule is shit, but that guy is not a better quarterback.
One more year. And I will say this too is, yes, we still don't know because Mateer did play trash competition. But when Jackson Arnold played trash competition, he didn't do a damn thing. So that's kind of my parallel for what we saw from Jackson. Against Temple, we scored 50 because the defense took the ball away, in plus territory multiple times. And then I also think that, you have, what do you score, 14 against Houston, and, maybe a questionable, muffed punt was responsible for half of that. He did okay versus Tulane until he didn't. So I mean, yeah, I mean, like, he had the capabilities, but I did see John Mateer go out and put up 41 touchdowns.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I think his skill set is good. His moxie's good, and he's going to have better players here than he had before. I think they're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to be fine. And again, I'll tell you that if Mateer doesn't play well, Michael Hawkins will. Michael Hawkins is going to be a cheat code at some point.
Well, he has the right people in place now. He has a quarterbacks coach that's going to be working with him throughout the whole season.
The guy that left his team before the bowl game, before the college football playoff, that's who Bo is. The backup that split town and chose Missouri. That's what you left freaking Penn State for, was Mizzou? Come on, man. Come on. Oh, getting a little Yanni there.
Oh,
yeah,
man, look, it's 11
Yeah.
o'clock here, and I've been going since 4 this morning.
Man, I feel you, brother. I appreciate you coming in, though, for sure.
No
I
problem.
appreciate everybody dropping in and hanging out with us for a little while. Obviously, I wanted to get into some of these way too early top 25s and Heisman lists, stuff like that.
I got time.
You got a little bit of time? You want to do a little bit there?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, then. Well, shit, I can do it. Come on. Hold on real quick. Let me add one thing.
Come on, Cletus. Come on, Cletus.
Come on, Cletus.
You walk over here, but you limp back.
Here's the Here's the one that they had, and I think this may be an older one now that I'm thinking of it, but where you have 7 South Carolina, the latest one I believe has Illinois up that high on their way too early top 25. I think they're high. I think that Andy and Ari were in the back smoking weed, like shit tons of it, because I don't get it.
What company is that from?
You know who it is, On 3.
Okay.
Andy and Ari.
Then you know it's not about facts or thoughts or opinions. It's about attention.
You got Auburn number 10. You got Auburn number 10.
Right. And they've got Alabama out of the top 10, Auburn in it. Illinois, actually, the new one, I want to say the new one is different. Hold on a minute. Let me go find this new one. It's wild.
Hey, man, let me take a dump and wipe my ass with that piece of paper, man, because that's stupid. That's stupid.
I like it.
The national championship, the national champion, and you got him third.
Yeah, I get it.
Happened to you being first until you get beat. Because I guarantee you, if Texas would have won it, they would be right there. If Alabama would have won it or Georgia would have won it, they'd be right
Come on,
there.
but the thing is that who's Texas got? What are they going by to have Texas ranked so high? Is what I
Oh,
want to know.
Arch Manning.
Stop it with that.
I'm just
shit.
telling you, Arch Manning.
He's the number one odds-on favorite for the Heisman. So he has
That's just
the pressure
praying
the
about it.
the pressure that the media will put on Arch Manning is probably going to be the highest amount since anybody ever. Like, I don't think that there's been this much pressure put on a single player in college football history. He is coming in to a team that's losing half the damn team.
Oh.
And most of their offensive line, if I'm not mistaken. And he's not only expected to lead them to the national championship, but also win the Heisman.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, hey, listen, dude's going to be good. That's a lot for a dude walking in for the first time.
It is.
Don't they go to the swamp next year?
I think the week before they play us.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're going to the swamp the week before, right? Yeah,
Yes.
I saw that. I saw that. Yes, I love that. They're all
Dude,
butthurt
Florida's
about
gonna
it,
be
too.
nice next year.
Oh,
Florida's
no.
gonna be nice.
Florida, hey man, if DJ Lagway is upright, they're gonna look good because their defense. It wasn't even just about that. Their defense was damn good in the last half of the year. Once they got it to come together, whoo.
Now,
Okay, I'm not seeing those ones. So
who's gonna
let me
be
go to
Georgia's
these.
quarterback?
Georgia's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's not going to be Jalen Rashada because didn't he already get escorted off the premises?
I think so. I believe so, but hey,
I don't know. They didn't pick up a transfer, did they?
nope.
They didn't.
So they're not rolling with homeboy because that was rough.
Unless they get a grad transfer, they can't pick up nobody until the spring, right?
And well, nobody, yeah, especially, and they can't pick up anybody from the SEC either. So it's going to have to come from outside.
That's
because
gonna hurt
what I was kind of hoping for was a little Quinn Ewers to Georgia, and because I think that'd be a perfect bomb to happen because I don't. Listen, Quinn Ewers benefited. That's where Arch Manning's going to have, I think more success than Quinn is. You called the plays for Quinn. If you put him in Georgia, I think it could be a disaster. But that's not going to happen. So,
yep. All right. Well, let's go here. Obviously,
is Texas also supposed to win the Super Bowl next year?
Yes, they're supposed to win the Super Bowl and have every player in the Pro Bowl as well.
And I heard they're actually competing for Wimbledon, and they're probably the odds-on favorite for that.
Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy.
Fuck that.
The brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand.
All right. Texas at number 1 is who they've got in this way too early. Top 25.
All right.
Ohio State 2.
That's better.
I'm not sure that I buy that one either. You know what
Ohio State?
I mean, I get it that they're the national champions. I don't understand why you would think that they're going to be that good right away when they're losing a lot of these guys. But okay.
Now, is Will Smith coming? I mean, is Will Howard leaving or coming back?
Yeah, he's done. He's done.
He's out of eligibility at this point.
I think he's out of eligibility. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you got number 3, Oregon. I guess they're expecting Dante Moore to be that guy. They didn't go get anybody either. Penn State, I guess. Notre Dame right there. Georgia. Illinois. This is crazy. Illinois and South Carolina at 7 and 8. In front of Florida, for fuck's sake.
Well, listen. Florida pointed towards the sky at the end of the year, but they were on the struggle bus. Now they did have Illinois is the one that I would question, but that's probably has a lot to do with their schedule. Look at their schedule, Jason, because I would bet Illinois has that soft ass Big Ten schedule where they play like.
Let me see.
One of the big boys. Yes.
Illinois 20.
That would unless if they have a tough schedule, then I would have.
They went and got busy in the portal. I know. But let me look. I'm looking here. Just a second.
All right, I got it.
They play Western Illinois, Duke, Western Michigan, yes, Indiana, SC at home, Purdue on the road, at home versus Ohio State. Then it's Washington, Rutgers, Maryland, Wisconsin, Northwestern. That's your
Trash.
why.
right. Trash as it is. It's
So USC is
basically
their
the
second
same
toughest
schedule
game,
that
right?
Indiana had this year. I think it's the same, pretty much.
USC is the toughest. I mean, unless Indiana,
Well,
has another year, but
Yeah.
are we showing no faith in Wisconsin?
no, because they're still Wisconsin.
I
It's
don't know, man. I don't
like
know.
Wisconsin has a benchmark. Unfortunately, kind of like
When Brett Bielema was there, they did.
they were gonna run for they were gonna run for 6,000 yards in a season, and they were gonna have a running back who was going to be approaching 2,000 yards. They were gonna have some unathletic looking white guy at quarterback who had a name that was hard to pronounce, and that was just kind of the every year in, year out.
Doesn't Illinois have Arkansas's old coach?
Bielema. Brett Bielema.
Yeah,
Brett
Bielema. Okay.
Bielema. Yeah, he was Wisconsin's too. He replaced Barry Alvarez and then split for Arkansas, which was stupid.
Went to Arkansas, and it did not go over well. So that's where I would say, like South Carolina, if they put together something nice, I mean, they're in the SEC, but but it's that schedule for Illinois.
Yeah, Wisconsin's pretty bad. Let's see. Florida, yeah, we'll see. But the thing about South Carolina is like, okay, they're talking about they tasted success, but what success did they really taste though?
They competed with Alabama. They ran us. South Carolina, they tasted success as in
at home by Ole Miss. They barely, they went to Kentucky and won. So what?
Jason, their typical year, it's like their typical year floats in between 5 wins and
4 and 6, 4 and 5.
This is who they are, though. I don't understand why everybody thinks just because they said they were the hottest team in America didn't make it true.
No, it did. It was in the internet.
You still weren't a playoff team, South Carolina. You still weren't. Okay.
I think once you surprise some people and but then we get footage on you, I think the next season will be a little bit different.
Oh, it's freaky. It's shameful.
Well, and Lenore Sellers is that type of quarterback that once there's a good amount of game, I feel like he's one of those guys that once there's a decent amount of game film, the top end defenses are going to clamp down on pretty well.
A good athlete. I don't think he's a great quarterback.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, he's not in the Lamar Jackson, Cam Ward. That he's not in that that type of mobile thing. I mean, he's a guy who. I mean, typically he's a guy as an OU fan growing up in through the 2000s. He's the quarterback that's going against the Miami or the USC that you need to lose, and he can't get it done. So, we'll see. I mean, again, it's if they lose 3 games, that's probably right about where they're going to be. Right there in the around 10 to 15.
Yeah. Let's see. Auburn is a weird pick for me as well. Bielema, I guess Bielema changes. I don't know about Bielema. I don't know. I don't buy him really. But so the Auburn and then Michigan. Look, I think so we're expecting Michigan's going to come in and Bryce Underwood's going to be an All-American as a freshman.
No, they also got another quarterback. Man, I might be mixing up shows, but I think it might be like the guy from Stanford, something like that. But like they brought in a guy who's got some again, another one of those Big Ten quarterbacks who your job is to not make mistakes and hand the ball off. So they brought in a guy like that. So I don't think that you give Underwood the
last year.
I mean, but I think that they have 2 better options. Because I do think Underwood's going to be a baller. I just don't think that he's going to be ready for big time, to lead a team to national championship. Because I mean, they're losing most of their defensive playmakers, also. So I mean, they're going to lose some of the better, guys on defensive line, safety, defensive back. So
if not Texas, what team would I rank number 1? Anybody but?
going
I'm
into
not
next
having.
year.
I don't have them at 2 either. I don't have them at 2. I don't even probably have them in the top 5. Do I think they're going to be good? Yeah. Do I think they're going to be number 1 in the country good? No.
There's I
I
would
think I would have Ohio State ahead of them for sure. I would probably have Penn State. I would have Notre Dame ahead of them.
I mean, there's so many of those. I mean, you got a lot of replacing the quarterback at the top there because the go
Notre
back
Dame's
up to the
problem is
top.
not being able to throw.
No, I mean, yeah, it was. You always had to keep on your toes for Riley Leonard to take off, and if you played man coverage against him, he was going to take off
Sure.
against you. If you ran zone, they had the running backs and the horses to really run at you there, so they kept you off balance. But if you got them off balance, that was situation.
They've got a couple of guys that can spin it coming in behind him, and we'll see what they end up doing.
Yeah.
What do they get somebody in the portal? I don't know, but it doesn't feel like it. Anyway, after that, let's see: 13 Tennessee, 14 Alabama, 15 LSU,
Too low.
then BYU, Arizona State, then Oklahoma. Wow. 19 A&M, K-State.
They didn't do it. I mean, SMU down there.
I think that they were sitting around smoking, taking bong rips, and just putting shit out. Nebraska. Okay.
I mean, listen, we know that for the next 200 plus days, it is nonsense coming off of that product.
Oh yeah.
So, and then, sure, let's have Texas be ranked there. But like I said, you're doing a lot of overhauling, and a lot of staples of that team are going to be over. Now, I will say this too. I thought the same thing going into this year. And the wide receivers really proved me wrong this year. And the offensive line, kept it going. But I'll say this: I don't know if Texas has enough returning that I would rank them number 1. I think that I would probably, I'd put Ohio State, kind of like Coach Rick said at the beginning. Until somebody beats you, you're the number 1. But this is all to get people having chats on podcasts.
Oh yeah,
you're right.
Pillow talk.
Exactly what it is. So they sat around taking bong rips and watch this shit, man. We're gonna get all kinds of it.
But it is crazy. It's like, let me ask you this question, because this is a legit question. How pissed off is the rest of the SEC that one of these new people in Texas comes in after telling them that they're not going to run the SEC, and they're watching Texas have all this notoriety and success? Like, I know how it feels to us. I mean, I think that's what makes a lot of the Brent Venables stuff, this year and last year, the year before, that's what makes it tough, is because Texas has taken a step, and they've taken advantage of what I think has been a softer NCAA, football over the past couple of years. But like, I don't know. How does the rest of the SEC feel about it?
I don't look at them as that good, though. I don't think that they had to beat any. The teams that they played that had good, that were good and played well, beat them. And Arizona State almost got them, and hell, Clemson almost got them. They played a bunch of Mississippi States and let them hang around for a long time. Vandy was right there with them. I mean, come on.
But Jason, I know, but you still got to say it, dude. I mean, you're looking at this.
They still played
every single
schedule. Come on, man. It was a training wheel schedule when it was.
Georgia played a very similar schedule.
No, they did not. Georgia had to play everybody in the damn conference except for Oklahoma, pretty much. They played Tennessee. They played Ole Miss.
I guess you're right. You're right on that one.
Alabama, come on, man.
Now, they still couldn't. I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong, because again,
LSU,
all the teams,
come on, man.
all the teams with the polls
LSU.
that I don't think that they played them. But anyway, it's you've just got a lot of notoriety for Texas right now, and so. But the reason why I said that is because I think you got teams like Alabama who they can't worry about anybody else right now. They're kind of the same situation that I want people to be in with Oklahoma. Let's worry about ourselves. Don't worry about anybody else. Worry about
Yep.
yourselves because you're talking trash on another. I mean, like until we prove it. I
Come
mean,
on, bro. You just got done talking shit about Alabama.
no, that's just fact. It's not criticism. It's absolute fact.
So
I think that they're in deep trouble.
So is Texas. Come on, bro. They're one
We'll see.
good team away from getting their shit kicked out of them, and you know it. Come on, bro. Let's be real. Come on. All right. Heisman Trophy odds. Garrett Nussmeier coming in at number 1, plus 900. I believe right after that it'd be Arch at plus 950. This, of course, also according to On3. I don't know where they got this from, but Cade Klubnik at plus 1100. Penn State's Drew Aller at plus 1100. I think those are terrible odds for Drew Aller.
Yes.
There's no way.
I bet against
Nico
that.
at the same. I don't agree. I think this is great right here. I would take Jeremiah Smith before I'd probably take any of those guys up there. Maybe Nuss. I could see Nuss winning it.
Who's throwing him the ball, though?
Huh?
Who's throwing him the ball, though?
It's a good question. It's a good question. I think that, I mean, they've got guys there. That's for sure. I think that you have an elite play caller. I think they're going to be fine.
Dude, they have Sayin. They have Sayin is the they're going to be their 5-star. Julian Sayin, yeah,
Okay.
he flipped over that way.
If he's still there,
Man,
I think Carson Beck. That one's a joke.
yeah.
Julian Sayin. Again, I think if they really believe that, that's not good for Jeremiah Smith. But I think Jeremiah Smith could win it very easily.
I think Jeremiah Smith would have to average like 160 yards and at 1 point something touchdowns a game to win the Heisman.
How hard is that for him?
With a brand new quarterback?
Come on, bro. I don't know, man.
There.
He never worked with. He did it with. Look at what he did with freaking Will Howard, bro. Will Howard had a.
Bro, he was at Kansas
no
State.
hate on Will. No hate on
Will Howard had 2 seasons where he looked like he shouldn't play college football, and he had 2 seasons where he looked like he was the best game manager ever to play the game.
Yeah,
true. Dante Moore coming in. I think that this is a coordinator pick here. This is a coordinator pick.
I think it's just a style of play.
He's had a finalist. He's had a finalist 2 years in a row. I think Dante Moore is very talented. I think he may be a year away from really.
Dante Moore is going to be more talented as far as like an overall athlete. Now, not quarterback, but an athlete than either Dylan or
the kid. He throws dudes open. He has the layered routes. He can get it done.
Yeah.
I think that he was putting the ball in harm's way a little too much when he was at UCLA that first, but he was a freshman.
Yeah.
Will Stein, I mean, again, I think that's a Will Stein nod.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you've got Mateer, Lagway, Jennings, Austin Simmons, Miller Moss, Gunnar Stockton, Miller Moss of Louisville, by the way, Texas A&M's Marcelli, all coming in there as well. 2,500 for Lagway and Mateer. Yeah, I don't know. I saw Mateer higher up on some other lists. So, I mean, this is one list. This was the On3 one. We could go and find more, but I'll just say which ones do you think you like and hate and whatever? What are your thoughts? Coach, you split?
He bounced?
He split on us, I think, yeah. You rat bastard. No, I'm just kidding. He's tired, dude. I get it. He's the one that said, come on, we can do it.
Man, I don't look at any of these people in here and I'm like, I would put my hard-earned money on these guys winning the Heisman. There's not one of them in that list. I mean, that I would do it.
Fair enough.
And that doesn't mean I just don't see. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's something is, it used to you got to either go undefeated or lose one game and it not technically be your fault. Now, like college football is now that paradigm shifted now this year to where you don't have to worry about losing one game. You want to obviously go undefeated and do the best, but I mean, you look at a guy like Lagway, like I could argue why each one of these guys would do it. I could just feel like I could make a stronger case why they wouldn't outside of Nussmeier. And that would just be inconsistency and culture maybe in the Nussmeier situation. Because, I mean, I know that the Lacey kid, they just lost him for something pretty intense. Does Nick Anderson show up on the field? Does he ever play? So you have to ask yourself that question. How
Howie
often?
Felter snatch.
Say it again.
Neilio said Howie Felter snatch from USC. like
Filter stat.
That's awesome.
Oh, the Key and Peele ones are.
Yes.
Um,
Jeremiah Smith better than Devontae, who won it. Hey man.
Hey, Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith, I mean, if he stays healthy 2 more years, there's a very, very good chance that he could be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Like
dude,
he
is that guy.
he looks like Julio Jones reincarnated. And
so is Cam Ward and so is Ryan Williams. These guys are unbelievable receivers. They're just, for freshmen especially, unbelievable, right?
Cam Coleman. You say Cam Ward. I was confused for half a second.
Cam Coleman. My bad.
But no, I mean, Cam Coleman didn't get the hoopla that Ryan Williams did and Jeremiah Smith did. But again, Jeremiah Smith,
quarterback that like to turn the ball over a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He still will be this year. Carson Beck. Do you think, like I do, that's kind of jokish?
I mean, I feel like they were going pretty hard at Mateer, and when they didn't get Mateer, other people, that drug out for quite a long time, and a lot of other guys went.
They were really trying to get
Arbuckle
also.
Yeah.
Well,
they
I was saying after that all fell apart. I think they made a run at Quinn.
Yeah, I think there were conversations with Ewers around Georgia, Miami, and Ohio State, and I don't know.
You don't believe the $8 million rumor to go somewhere for Quinn?
No. I mean, I think that it's probably like 2.5, 3, but
yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
8 because you wouldn't make that in like 4 years in the NFL where he's going to get drafted. There's no way you can do that and call yourself a smart businessman. Not that I think that he necessarily does that, but
yeah,
I don't think he's stupid business wise. I mean, I would hope. Anyway, Dante Moore. I know Benji said I don't buy him. I don't really buy your belief in quarterbacks there, Benji. The rest of these guys, honestly, I don't know. I don't know that I have a real favorite out of it. I think Nussmeier is the guy. Early part of the year, what they always do. He had a huge year he had a first round draft grade. I don't know why he didn't leave. So I think that he's got to be the odds-on favorite for me. I think that Mateer could do it. I think it's maybe an outside shot, but Oklahoma would have to have a hell of a year.
I mean, you would have to go 10-2.
If you go 10-2 though, with this schedule, you're going to be
after
right
last year.
Yeah,
after last year,
right in the thick of this shit, no doubt.
Because I mean, listen, quarterbacks at Oklahoma, quarterback now at Texas, Ohio State, guys like that are always going to have, Georgia, Alabama. Every single one of those guys are always going to be mentioned in these preseason deals just because the history. And it's really crazy. It's when you don't have a quarterback, going into the season that's mentioned in the Heisman. Even Jackson Arnold coming in this year.
No doubt, I agree, 100%. 100%. All right. Anything else you have a strong opinion on when it comes to that stuff? It's good to see you again. It's been a while.
Man, I tell you what. So I mean, you usually ask me, and I'm like, yeah, let me put my son down. If I don't put my son down and wait till he falls asleep, then as soon as I come in here and shut the curtain, he will come running down the stairs and go mess with mom. And she, this is her like who saw time by herself, and he does not go to sleep until somebody is going to sleep next to him. So 6 years old.
I just said it's good.
No. I'm just saying, like tonight, I was like, man, I said it to Jason, I'm going to do it, and boy, he was moving around, and I was like, here, I wonder if I could put a pillow over your head and just make the oxygen filtered out.
Easy.
Maybe he would go to sleep then. No, but yeah, no, it's. And I'm not gonna lie, the schedule once the kids get out of school for Christmas break, since mom's a teacher, it's just crazy town around here, just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, man, I appreciate you coming in and spending some time with us here tonight. Who is your most unlikable coach? If it wasn't, now I shouldn't have never put Lincoln Riley.
Oh no, I put Brian Kelly. I put Brian Kelly. He killed a kid. Let's not forget. But even on top of that, like the fake accent in the press conference, he's just one of those, like,
we don't buy football players. Yeah, just women's basketball players, bro. Come on, man.
He's just one of those guys that, like, I think that he would be like, hey, listen, I really, really like it. My name's Brian Kelly. I would be like, but is it really though? Like, I wouldn't even trust that his name's actually Brian Kelly. Like, I just don't trust him. He just seems.
It's not.
He just seems. Now he could be the best person. He could be the best person in the world. And if I was an LSU fan, maybe I'd love him. But I have a hard time.
A lot of them do, though. I don't know that. It seems like their media likes him for whatever reason.
I think that when you have any.
Love him, though.
No, I think I kid you not. I think that when you're the coach at Notre Dame, the media just wants you to succeed. And I don't know what it is. It's like almost like anytime that you do anything at all, anything, even just like the media is like, oh, I mean, because just listen to how they were talking about, Marcus Freeman last night, how they talked about him last year, the year before, right, when he was hired. Like, it's like they just want that guy to succeed. And so whenever you get over to LSU, they don't give a crap about any of that. They just want to look up at the standings and see their name up top.
Yeah.
That was a pretty funny chat right there. Good job.
That was good stuff.
Now, I will say this is, Jay and I are working on a couple things. I think that what's crazy is with this recruiting class for 25 being done so early, I think most of the insider people, the Fasusi thing was the last thing that really drew out, and we were pretty comfortable with that one. Man, Jaden O'Neal is coming on with Jay and I here before too long. We're trying to figure it out. I think they're actually in town this weekend. They're actually in Norman. So if you're wondering how's all this stuff affecting, affecting him, not at all. Dude is all in. Man, he talks to PG and Jay quite often. But man, we're gonna have him and kind of talk about. I mean, number one, he's a quarterback. We don't usually get quarterbacks on our shows. Those guys.
Yeah.
Those guys are hard to get on there. But dude has been going to town. Like, he's recruiting his ass off. Like, he's going to have a little series called "Becoming a Sooner" that he's going to be putting together. And I mean, love that family, love them, and so they're doing some good work. They love what they've heard from Arbuckle. I think that there has been a really cool opportunity for him to come in and learn, from Arbuckle, and them to start already scheming up like what that's going to look like, and it could be a really cool thing, by that time. So he gets to watch Mateer this year, and maybe something fun is in the works for this coming year and for his season.
Listen, I really like where they're headed offensively too. Somebody we hadn't really gotten a chance to talk about, and I probably would have liked to. I like who they've got coming in the portal. I know they're expecting things big right away from them, but I think Elijah Thomas might end up making an impact, out of the gate.
Elijah Thomas is just different, and
he's like a headhunter on offense.
Yeah, and I really like everything about him. I mean, I think he's a kid that if he was probably playing at Jinx or Bixby or PC or something like that, like he would probably be a lot bigger than he was. And so
even though he was player of the year,
he reminds me if you take some of the best assets from Ryan Broyles and Mark Clayton and Sterling Shepard, and just kind of just put them all together. And it's just, he's got the compact body, he's got big hands. He high points the ball. He's got good speed, and so yeah, I mean, he's a guy who he can come out and take some snaps, and so we're back to the spot. This is kind of how I felt going into the, let's see here, what was it, the 23 season. We had a lot of bodies at wide receiver, and we didn't know what it was going to turn out to be, but it ends up being one of the strengths of the team. Well, I feel like we're kind of at that spot to where we are. We got a lot of bodies, and it could turn out to be something special.
Yeah, I think it could. I like a lot of the. I mean, you were talking about none of those guys really have to come through and be huge, right? I think what you're expecting to see is one of them have 500 or 600 yards, another one have 5 or 6. You need two of them to hit big and somebody to be pretty good, right?
Yeah,
that's about it. And you need to have a good running game, and we'll see kind of what happens. And I think that Mateer is going to help with that. I think Hawkins would help with that. Either way, I think this offense is headed in the right direction. As much as I love the idea of getting, Jim Knowles as the defensive coordinator, being able to take that off of Venable's plate, you can trust him. They're going to do a lot of the same stuff. I don't think that matters as much as what I think that the biggest hire was Buckle.
It was Arbuckle. Yeah, it was. And again, you can't fix the injuries situations from last year. We fixed. Listen, I'll just call it a fix already. We fixed the offensive coordinator situation. It's going to be how does this offensive line come together? Because I think that there is a shit ton of talent on this offensive line, and you have a lot to work with. I think at wide receiver, same situation. And the difference is I think that with Ben Arbuckle playing behind an offensive line that really didn't do much for him, he has played in chaos and he has thrived in chaos. He knows how to get the ball out. He knows how to act quick. And so, I mean, that's where I'm thinking that, like, all right, now here we go. This is going to be a good opportunity for him to come in. And listen, all you got to do is be somewhere between. I mean, if you are the 2023 offense next year, this team is going to be a problem.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the top 5 offense. You're in the college football playoff.
Yeah. Well, it's and here's the thing is we're going to be in this spot. I think that it's going to get to the spot to where at some point during the season, a lot of us are going to have the coming to Jesus moment of, do I let myself get too caught up in what could be, and then staying reserved? And it's going to be tough because I just think that college football, with the playoff, with teams trying different things, doing different things, I think it's created an insane amount of parity, and there isn't a Nick Saban anymore.
For now, I think it does.
For now, yes, because I think that we still have 2 or 3 more years until I think the teams just in general have a good understanding of like how to handle this, and everything is still changing. I mean, that's the thing about it is like, the moment that you think something's going to work, something else changes and you got to switch up everything. And that's why you see, the university going out and hiring, CEOs and people to come in and do the business aspect of it, because you're going to have to think not only like, it's not like you're a kid playing a video game and you just blow your whole, salary or, money to go get one mega player. Like, you got to think through these things. Like, how does giving somebody something crazy, for two more years affect your program next year? It's we all see what happens when you give a fully guaranteed contract to a quarterback with some character issues, and that can tank your franchise.
Way to go, Cleveland. Way to go, Cleveland.
Oh, I wasn't talking about him. Oh, rub and tug.
Oh, rub and tug. And tug.
And did you see he tore his Achilles again?
Oh.
So so I guess he tore it the season. Well, then he just tore it again. So he's going to be out all year next year. And I want to say it's like some kind of like $32 million salary cap hit or something stupid like that.
But I think that they're able to get out from underneath paying for all of it, though, at the end because of this stuff. So he's been hurt basically the whole time. And something
Yeah, I don't. It was
he
fully
did something.
guaranteed. It was fully guaranteed,
I think
and I
that
mean,
was
until
the case, but I think that something they just renegotiated from what maybe not. I hope not. I think that they deserve whatever they got. How do you try
listen,
to skewer Baker on the way out because you want Deshaun so bad that you just, and dude, it was such a shit show. Fuck Cleveland.
what was it? I think
hope they never win anything ever again.
No, I was wrong. I said a 30, what I say, a 32 million cap hit. The 2025 cap hit is $72 million.
Ooh.
And so, yeah, insurance may pay that, but you don't
Yeah,
get
but it doesn't help the
72,000.
football team.
Yeah, you don't get
doesn't help you fill up
72,000.
your roster.
You know what you get? Jameis Winston.
Jameis was good this year for what they were, but yeah,
he had about two Jameis Winston games, and then it was rough after that. But yeah, I mean, 70. So his 2025 cash 46 million, and his cap hit is 72 million.
Ouch. So he's okay. So yeah, they're throwing the money out. He's no longer with the team. Then I guess is that what
I think he still is. So what was it? So the 2025 salary cap is, oh my God.
Holy shit.
They have.
X.
We're getting what?
We're getting a lot of watches on
Oh.
Twitter. X.
There you go. The Browns are 29 million. I think this is what this says, 29 million over the cap space. And technically, I guess it says effective cap space is 38 million in the hole.
Oh.
The Cowboys are only 285,000 in the hole, so that's good.
What does that matter?
And then you have the damn Patriots with $120 million in cap space. They just hired, Vrabel? Was it Vrabel who they brought in? And then bringing back in McDaniels as OC. So it's like the Saved by the Bell reunion, like 35 years later, to where you're trying to do the same shit that you did way back when. It's just, I mean, is it going to work? Is it going to work?
I think Vrabel is a pretty good coach. I don't know that I understand what they were doing with OJ Mayo. I thought that was kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
But I think Vrabel's a better coach. I think he's a proven coach. He's won.
Patriots will have a good year this year because of where they're slotted and the schedule that they're going to play, because they weren't one of the better teams, and they got a big amount of cap space. And they're going to have an easy schedule. They're probably going to be a team that does pretty well this year. Just overall, they may not be an actual good team, but I bet they may have a little bit of a comeback. Commanders have the third most cap space at 89 million, so I would expect to see them probably spend like madmen and try to take advantage of that rookie contract for Jaden Daniels.
Bro, talk about it. What a freaking playoff that kid has had, right?
I mean, the other night when I didn't get to watch the Lions game for some reason, I missed
shit, bro.
I missed Dade, and I thought it was the next day. And
I don't know why. I watched the damn Jaden Daniels game and forgot about the Baltimore game until the end of it.
Oh well. Sorry about that.
It was recorded, but still, I was like, "Holy shit!" Once you know, you know.
We were live. Jay and I we were watching the game, and people were like,
I wasn't watching it live. I watched it the next morning.
It was like Mark Andrews just dropped a 2-point conversion, and I was like, damn! And it was like a few minutes after he dropped something else, and so I thought,
he didn't have a great game, but neither did Lamar.
Well, listen, man, I'm with you. It's the quarterbacks that it's like the guys who are effective.
That dude, bro.
The guys who are effective in the NFL is unless Philadelphia. Like I know they've made it once, I just don't see
but they don't
Philadelphia
win.
ever winning. I don't see
Yeah.
them ever winning, like with Jalen Hurts.
Even with
I don't.
Saquon,
Yeah, no, I don't, because eventually you're going to have to throw the ball with equal efficiency as you can run the ball. And in the playoffs, eventually one of those
you
teams is
won't
going to
do it.
get you. One of those
No,
teams is going to get you.
if there's one thing that you have to do in the playoffs, it's stop the run.
Yeah.
Especially with one of these quarterbacks that isn't super accurate. And let's just be real. Lamar may have completed 70% of his passes. They threw 100% of balls that were less tough to complete. It doesn't matter. And
Yeah.
so he's still look, the bottom line is he hasn't gotten a lot better at throwing the ball. They just I would hope that the coaches would be a little smarter from year to year, but I don't know how you don't stick the ball in Derrick Henry's fucking belly and let him go in that game.
It's you know for a fact that Derrick Henry is at his swan song to where he wants to go win. And if you asked him to go 40 carries, he would do it. You ask him to do 40 carries, Derrick Henry would say, yes, if it's going to help us win a Super Bowl so I can retire and be able to walk in 10 years, then let's go do it. And I just, it's always going to be that situation of, you go back to, to a certain quarterback from the 49ers who was a running quarterback and they had good defense, relied on the running game. They couldn't win. They couldn't beat the Ravens at that point because the Ravens had Joe Flacco and he had a great passing game. You're going to have to be a passing quarterback who can move around and run.
Yeah. Is that better, Clint? Sorry about that. And thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah. But yeah, I just don't, man, here's the one thing is I know there's always been people who are talking about the Kansas City Chiefs and the benefit of the doubt that the officials continue to give him. This was the game to where I was like, it was more than evident. Like it was, and I don't care like one way or the other, but like there were like when Patrick Mahomes flopped and they didn't call it, I just kept on waiting. It came back from commercial break and I thought there might be a flag on the field six plays later.
Went back
it's like, we since the game's not it's it just blows my mind.
We had a minute. We thought we'd go back and look.
Yeah, no, it's like in the NBA where they go back and check to see if it's a 3-pointer or a 2-pointer and they just like credit it and they don't really say anything and you just look up and the score's different. But man, this is the year that you got to get the Chiefs. And I don't know how you got to do it. I mean, I'm just loud, Clint. I don't know. That just might be me. But no, I mean, this is the year that you got to get the Chiefs. I mean, they are struggling and it is, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're going to get called for borderline calls, you might, I hate to say like to hurt somebody, but you might as well just not let up. If you're going to get flagged anyway, you might as well just go to town. And now I'm not saying go out there to try to hurt them, but man, it's just an ugly game to watch, especially when it's like multiple times and they're not very close either.
Yeah. No, I agree. I would agree with that. Is that better? Anyways, I don't know. I've got mine cranked way the hell up. It sounds really bad to me.
You sound perfectly fine to me, but I don't know.
I don't know if that's just because of it seems to be better here, but I've noticed it in the replays that it's been low. So I've been pushing it up the whole day, but I don't know. Didn't you have another bounty gate? Yeah, I don't know. I think that they definitely protect. Listen, can you really blame the league though for doing that? They're going to protect their bounty guy. These guys are killing it. This is what their 9th straight freaking trip to the final.
It's something silly. Yeah,
stupid,
it's
right.
But like again, if I'm the head coach, I just say, guys, there's a chance that you're going to get called on a 50-50 play. Just go out and play the game. Like if you get the penalty, we're not going to throw a fit about it. Like I don't know, but because like I said, it's just one of those deals to where like you bust your ass and you do everything to get the ball back to your offense, and then somebody hiccups and Patrick Mahomes his head shoots back or something like that, and all of a sudden you get a personal foul.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, they've been talking about the shit for 2 years basically, and you see it every fucking game that there's a call that if it's If it, yeah, I don't even know if it's 50-50. If it's
I'm just being PC and
there's
being middle of the
any way
road,
you can
Switzerland.
possibly give it to them, they're giving it to them. And
Oh yeah,
I guess that listen, you know what? I remember they used to do that shit with the Patriots too. Even though the Patriots got it was like that, bro. You
it's
know,
worse. I mean, it's worse with Patrick Mahomes because I mean, I mean, listen, this is the year that you got to do it because I mean, he doesn't. I think DeAndre Hopkins. I would not be surprised to see him hit the old retirement this year. He just
right.
doesn't look like he's got anything left, and it's crazy. I mean, like some NFL players, Larry Fitzgerald just held on and 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 held on, and there's guys that just fall off a damn cliff like overnight, and it just blows my mind.
It's wild with D-Hop, right? He just kind of fell off the map, right? And he was so good. So
Yeah.
good. What happened? I don't know.
I mean,
I don't even remember him getting hurt or anything.
he got hurt he got hurt at Arizona, I want to say 3 years ago, and then he had kind of
Yeah,
an
but it
injury
wasn't
plagued season.
Yeah.
But again, it's I mean, you fine tune your bodies for this long, and sometimes it all just stacks up, and you know if it's harder, sometimes you lose the fire. I mean, how many athletes do we see this? You play fantasy football, you know this damn as
True.
gospel. There's certain guys that you're looking at every single year. You get that first pick, and you're just like, son of a gun. There's no way in hell I'm going to pick Derrick Henry, you know, this far into his career because you just know like he's going to be one of
Yeah,
them
he's gonna
too.
get hurt. Yeah. True.
He's gonna have some kind of a hamstring, oblique, or something like that, and it's gonna just keep him, you know. He stopped getting massages from Watson once he left Houston. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
I love
But
our
no, I
guys,
mean,
man. They know they always have the right thing to say, you know?
hey man, it's I guess Hollywood Brown is gonna miss the whole season, so I mean he'll still get a ring though, right?
Who would?
Isn't Hollywood Brown still on the Chiefs, right? He's on the roster. He just was hurt all
Yeah.
year.
Yes. He is.
So that sucks. But hey, I just say this. I'm not a big Chiefs fan. I'm sure as hell not a Taylor Swift fan, but it's always a little bit more enjoyable when they show Taylor Swift versus like Roger Goodell or Jerry Jones, you know, when something good happens. So I guess that's my silver lining for you, Jason.
Hey, listen, I've been trying to get a guy that should have been in the Hall of Fame 50 fucking years ago in for the last 3.5 years to no avail. And now they're talking about putting murderers in before they put him in. I know they fucking suck in the NFL. Okay. I know it. I get it. So, yeah. Anyway. Otis Taylor, by the way, folks. Otis Taylor. Go look him up. He's the Chief. I hate the Chiefs, by the way. Part of it's because of Otis. They fucked him. The guy is probably, if you adjusted his stats from the 60s around the merger era when they threw the ball less than everybody else by like 100 passes a year,
Yeah.
Otis is probably top 3 all time. He's that guy. Go back and look. You can go check out my channel. It's OT4H, or no, it's just Way Past Due it's Way Past Due right here on YouTube. Go check it out. We don't have enough subs and all that shit. I was just venting a little bit there. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. But yes, loving. Hey, appreciate you coming in, my guy. We got to get together more often. Got to do some more content. I know you guys are doing some changes. We're doing the same. Got some plans coming up as well. We got to talk off air anyways too about some stuff. So hit me up. Appreciate you coming in. Obviously,
Yeah, man.
Tell everybody how to find you and what you guys got coming up.
You go to your internet browser, you Google Unfair Sports, and you can check us out. Check us out, Unfair Sports Sooner or Later podcast. Look for Jay and I, and yeah, off-season time. So some more parent interviews are going to be coming down the pike here soon. Working on some, some of the goods. I want to try to get Jane Jackson's mom to come on with me. A couple other players. So pretty excited to start those back up because listen, I thought it was just going to be something, But it seems like everybody enjoyed them last year, so we'll try to give you the people who you want to hear from. Oh, you muted yourself.
I muted myself. It's always a pleasure to have you guys have you in here, have Jay in here. Mr. Popularity over there, old Jay, these days, man. You see him everywhere. He's just killing it. Nothing but love for him. Love it
Yeah,
that he's
he's
out
so
there
good.
killing it. He's been kicking ass, Daddy. He really has, man. Excited about that. Make sure you guys go find him on Twitter and give him a hard time. Eric _Cooper 82. Jay is just put in Unfair Sports. You'll find
Unfair
him.
Sports. He's at Unfair Sports. I think he's got his own personal one, but
he doesn't use it. He doesn't use it that I know of. Maybe he does when he's wanting to burner account somebody, I guess.
No,
He
it's
doesn't
more
do it right.
inconspicuous, personal, comments on food, history, politics, pop culture, stuff like that.
Yep. We don't do politics here. Shit on that.
No, not on a podcast. There's other places for that.
True. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, even just getting into little conversations about, podcast guys gets shit started around here. Taking hell for it. It was fun. I was actually I got Richard Petty about it the other day, so it was what it was. You know me, bro. I love it. Coop, appreciate you, man. We will see you all, guys. Hey, folks, we've had over 1,000 people in here tonight. I appreciate everybody coming in. We don't have near enough likes. We've got 1,100 people have been in here. We've got 60 likes. And that's on the YouTube side.
You know what, Jason? I feel like YouTube needs to do a deal to where we can send likes to the watchers, so I could be like, hey, Charles, there's your like. And we could give likes too. Right?
Yeah. I started. I mean, and I'm all love for all these guys. I mean, all of the folks that are in here. I mean, Jenna and Ganja. Ganja's been one of my favorite new guys that's been around. Unless he's an old guy that I just didn't know. He's got a better name now. But he's been hanging around with us more lately. Love all these guys, those Sooners to win. Benji, even for a Longhorn, Benji's all right. Kyle, Charles, of course. We got Kyle DePuis. Shit, man, we've had everybody in here tonight. It's been a nice little show. I appreciate everybody for coming in, but just make sure you guys are sharing this with your friends. Hit that like button. We'd appreciate it. It's a free way to make sure you help us out. And that's the best way to really help us out for sure. We will see the rest. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to go out to a commercial, though, so you can jump off anytime. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.